Wow, doesn't turn down either.
Stuff. What are you hearing?
That's you. That's you. Yeah, we got you.
Gotcha.
Talk back.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, you're hearing me too? All right, how far out are we, Andy? Okay.
The Owen Warhorses versus the Polk Wolverines. Bojangles Friday Night Rivals.
It's great to have football coming your way from the state of North Carolina tonight. Polk set to host Owen. It is the Wolverines and the Warhorses just moments away from doing battle. You know, great this time of year. You get to this season and this portion of the season, you think about the events of a year ago, and our thoughts will never forget. Our thoughts will always remain with those families who continue to battle back and continue to bounce back. But football is a reminder, Tom, that things have continued to progress and the fighting spirit of North Carolina remains strong.
Yeah, and you think about what happened last year. A couple of these teams had to play 2 games, 5 days, 3 and 12. And just to have football back, I think, was really a good for both communities.
We're still with you all the way, and the fighting spirit of these two teams goes back a long way. This is one of the great rivalries in the western part of North Carolina. A little bit of distance separating these two, so it's not that close proximity rivalry, but when you look at their history, Tom, so many championships have been decided between these two over the years.
Yeah, it is important to both these communities historically, and they want to get back on the winning track. Both teams run the football. It's going to be a very interesting matchup here tonight.
A couple of coaches establishing their fingerprints on their respective programs. Give me a sense from your perspective of what it comes down to in this one.
You're going to have to control the running game. Special teams going to come into play, and always turnovers are a big situation as well when you're talking about some coach speak as well here, but that's probably what it'll come down to tonight.
It's those familiar Warhorses of Owen and the connection our broadcast has to them. You think about Polk and what they mean to our broadcast as the first to ever host us right around a decade ago. What will give between the Wolverines and the Warhorses? We'll find out on the other side of the break. Well, Owen has won the toss. They have deferred, so Polk going to receive the football. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out in the early stages of this rivalry. Teams getting acquainted with their respective sides just moments ago. Tom, walk us through the keys to tonight's contest.
Well, I'll tell you, from Owen's standpoint, you get a tackle to Lorenzo Sanchez. Why? 224 yards per game. Turnovers always key in this one. Third down efficiency as well. Polk County limit the big plays. Triple option for Owen. 3 players more than 200 yards rush, and they want to establish the runs at all. Keep away, control the ball.
Picture perfect night in Columbus. 78 degrees at last check. Just what you would want this time of year when it comes to a football Friday night. The bright lights are on, and the stars, well, they're not quite out yet in the sky, but they certainly are occupying those white stripes across the gridiron, and we are happy you have chosen to spend a portion of your Friday night with us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. And Tom, this is one that could really propel these two teams forward when you consider what type of lift a win on a night like this, not only due to the visibility, but also because of the conference scenarios can provide.
Non-conference is over. Both were 2-2. Both were 1-8 last year. Didn't win a conference game. Off to a positive start this year. And as you mentioned, this is a conference game. So we'll get into a little bit of the differences in the conferences and what's happening in North Carolina. But a big game here tonight.
How many times over the years the conference coming down to a battle between these two ties, two-way ties, three-way ties over the years when you talk about this conference and one of the great mountain scenarios and groupings in the history of this sport. Renewed has the football. He is taken at the 15, out across the 30, 35, 40, and pushing the pile as far as possible up across the 42-yard line is Nolan Simpson. Actually going to get a little closer to midfield than we originally thought, as there's that, what do we talk about, fighting spirit coming into this one. You see it on display on the opening kickoff return of 38 yards, a 38-yard return for the home standing Wolverines of Polk County. And Tom, they are under the direction of Brody Wilkins, who is set to lead them out.
Yeah, young guy, started some as a freshman into the sophomore now, and looking forward to seeing him play tonight, and we're looking forward to see what the offense looks like.
Again, a reminder, Owen won the toss. They deferred, so Polk with the football right here, right now to get things rolling as we are freshly underway at Columbus and coming near side, looking for some room, finding some. How about this? Sanchez, you're going to hear his name called often tonight. Now, this may be coming back. A flag comes in at around the 47-yard line, and Polk begins that retreat. So this one won't count, but many of them will for Lorenzo Sanchez tonight. And here is his surrounding cast.
Man, I'll tell you, incredible numbers for Sanchez. 224 yards per game, 96% of all the rushing yards he has. So the tight end is Tyler Blackwell. How about 24 yards per catch, 5 TD, and then up front to the right tackle, Lucas Johnson, a 6'5" senior, 3-year starter, will anchor the offensive line.
Tell me a little bit more about Sanchez. What is it that makes him so unique?
Well, I'll tell you what, he can run it up inside, and he's not that big a guy. He's about 5'5", 147. The coach says he's up a couple of pounds in that regard, but even though at that structure and height and weight, he can take it up inside, but he can bounce as well.
Speaking of coach, you got a glimpse of Dustin Fry there moments ago. You may remember him from his Clemson days. He's well traveled and is now the head man here at Polk County. And right on that Polk County logo across midfield and into Owen territory goes the ball carrier. That's going to set up a second down and about 5 after a handful here. A look at the Owen defense trying to slow this Polk County push.
Solid all 3 levels. D tackle Rio Obispo, 22 tackles coming in, goes both ways. The linebacker Steven Anderson anchors there, and then you get into the secondary. Emerson Autry is the free safety as well. They like their ball club on the defensive side.
Hemmed up, covered up, and that's Hayden Burpo. You will become acquainted with him on both sides of the football tonight. He's among the first on the scene this time around.
Yeah, he is a secondary player there, but you'll see him on offense as a slot back. How about a kicker, a punter, punt return, kick return? He can do it all.
Maybe easier to say. Just what you said. He's a guy who's going to do a little bit of everything for the Warhorses of Owen tonight. Find themselves in a third down scenario. Polk with the ball just shaded on the Owen side of the 50. Opening drive of the contest already down to 10:23 as clock is stopped and timeout is called. One thing you've noticed already, this one may pass us by very quickly with a couple of teams that like to ground and pound in Columbus. Carolina Furniture Concepts is a presenting sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. They have over $5 million of furniture in stock and ready to be delivered to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms or go online at carolinafurnitureconcepts.com. Daylight giving way to darkness and the stadium lights becoming prevalent here in Columbus, North Carolina. Welcome back to Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Third down coming. First third down of the contest for homestanding Polk County. A 38-yard kickoff return, setting them up nicely near midfield. The question, will that opening drive continue for the Wolverines? Another spurt of energy as he comes storming out of there for Sanchez, and he's near first down yardage. He may very well, in fact, have the initial pocket change laundry first down of the contest. He will move the chains, a pocket change laundry first down for Lorenzo Sanchez and company. That was a sense of just how much energy he has at the point of attack.
Yeah, just turn around and hand him off, third down and 5, and that's what he got. Look at this one.
Well, again, and on cue, Sanchez loose and into the end zone for a Polk County touchdown. Wolverines gonna have to work to get that initial first down, but a 43-yard carry on the first down play means an initial Foundation Solutions touchdown, and Lorenzo Sanchez on display this opening drive.
I took that quickly. I was just describing what he did on third down and 5. Nothing fancy. Turn around, big guys up front, got him in the room, and then on the play after that, able to take it the distance. Once he got into the secondary, outran everybody.
Well, add the term explosive to all those other adjectives you threw around in relation to Lorenzo Sanchez, and now the extra point going to be handled by Blake Anderson. And the senior kicker punches it through to make it 7-0 home team. Here's the initial Foundation Solutions touchdown run as Lorenzo Sanchez puts the home team on the board first. This fella here is tracking it. Let's hope he's. We're counting on his. We're counting on his.
Vaccines for kids. What's that?
Oh, I got you.
7-0 Polk County as the Wolverines march down following a 38-yard kickoff return. Snatch away a pocket change laundry first down and then a 43-yard touchdown run. Recapping that drive, 2:01 off the game clock, Tom. 5 plays, 53 yards in total to make it 7-0 homestanding Wolverines.
I'll tell you what, just a very good offensive explosion to begin things. We talk about both teams wanting to run the football. Polk County will throw it a little bit more, so we're going to see what turns out early on. Pretty important possession here.
This one also taken at the 9, just like on the other side of the field a moment ago, and brought out to the 30-yard line. That is where Emmett Minks and company will take over. That return by Hayden Burpo, a reminder how he will do a little bit of everything for the Owen Warhorses tonight. Speaking of Minks, here's a guy in his junior season now. 3 touchdowns on the ground, a couple of touchdowns through the skies. Speaks to the balanced nature when needed of the offensive approach, Tom.
Yeah, he will carry the football occasionally as well. He's one of 3 that have at least 200 yards rushing, so they kind of divide it a little bit differently than Polk County does on the run game.
Team that won the toss but deferred until the second half, getting their initial crack at it here. Speaking of going to the skies, here's Small on the first play from scrimmage, just to keep on their toes. Out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. That's good for 6 on the first play from scrimmage. Gives us a chance to show you the Owen offense.
Yeah, you take a look at Stephen Anderson, who go both ways. 5 TDs, 4 rushing, 1 receiving. Hayden Burpo, we talked about it. It's a slot back, can catch it, can run it. And then the center is led by the O-line by center Obispo, who goes both ways. It's the D tackle.
It's Burpo that we circled. Tell our viewers why.
Well, he runs it, he catches it. He's a slot guy. Kickoff return a moment ago, punt return, kicker, punter as well.
Suffice it to say, you always got to keep an eye on jersey number 2, and it comes his direction on cue. He's got a first down. Move the chains with a pocket change laundry first down, and that's Burpo carrying it across. And a flag that's got to be sorted out, but this looks like it's going to be against Polk County. So it appears as if all will continue according to script for the Warhorses of Owen. A personal foul that's going to tack a good bit onto the end of this. You know, Burpo, a guy, we'll get into it before the night is done, but he is as entrenched in the Valley as anybody. When you look at his pedigree, his family history, and then you consider how much of the weight he carries for this football team, the Owen Warhorse is going to rely heavily upon him in this one tonight. He comes away with the initial first down of the contest for Owen. A pocket change laundry first down, and I'll underscore it. Wherever 2 is, right now he's filling up the center of your screen. You better locate him at all times. So much of what he does, what they do, goes through him. This time it's going to be Anderson, and he's across the 35 down to the 33-yard line. Boy, Tom, the first couple of first down plays have been very fruitful for Owen. And let's take a look at the defense trying to change that trend. Here is Polk and how they line up defensively.
Yeah, strong all 3 areas. Micah Hills at 19 tackles on the D-line, Lanker there. Styler Blackwell, outstanding tight end. He's the #1 tackler at linebacker, and Zayla McCraw as well, all conference. You get into the secondary. Nolan Simpson, senior safety there. We saw him with the opening kickoff. He's a multi-talented guy as well.
Second downs have been second down and 3, second down and 4 so far for Owen. They'd like to make that a trend all night long. This tossed in the direction of Small again. You know, you got a couple, really, when you think about it. Hayden's that we've called early on in this one. A little bit different spelling in each case, but both Haydens have made their presence known. Burpo, who we documented a moment ago, and Hayden Small, who has twice had his name called early here.
Yeah, we talked about Small and then Burpo, and then in addition with Anderson. And if you can get the slot backs involved off that motion, you're going to see it on your screen there as well. Then you go up inside, and I thought it was really intriguing that they began with a pass. They throw 7 per ball game, but you know, good way to start it. But then we saw the fullback effectively what he was able to do at Burpo. So getting everybody involved early on in the game.
Well, remember, a couple of or a touchdown through the skies, along with the trio of touchdowns on the ground for Minks. When you think about the QB and that duo we've talked about, the Haydens, Hayden Small, Hayden Burpo, a couple of senior leaders on this squad. They got to tend to one of the Wolverines. We'll check his status after the break.
Have questions about childhood vaccines? Have questions about childhood vaccines? Get real answers. Start a conversation with your child's doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov.
Yeah, the injured player on the Polk County side of things was Nolan Simpson. He worked his way into the tent just a moment ago after the stoppage for his injury. 7:48 remaining in the opening period of play. Polk drove down, scored. 43-yard touchdown run from Lorenzo Sanchez on the opening series for the home team. You are looking at the opening series for the Warhorses of Owen. And in some of those trademark formations, they keep it all tight and give Meeks a chance to call his own number, go over the right side. And he's going to make it a manageable third down here.
Well, you always talk about when you're going to defend the option, the discipline you've got to have on defense. That time we saw the quarterback just keep the football, go up middle, and you called it as a tight formation, and you have motion off of that as well, so you really got to be able to play your key.
Well, and you got to rely heavily upon big 5'8", 7'9", 5'5", 7'7", and 5'3". Those guys up front going to be critical for Owen tonight, making space. They'll try and do so again. Guess what? You can move the chains. That appears to be enough for a pocket change laundry first down. We'll confirm it as they unpile them, but this is a good initial push.
Yeah, just bang it up inside, and you like Obispo, 5'9", 210 senior, went off at the right side as well. Camden McDonald, 6'2", sophomore, and man, that coach telling us on our conversations this week, getting him back, and there've been some bumps and bruises both teams as well. Now again, both teams play 5 or 6 both ways, and you know you're at this level when you have 32 players or 28 players. They have a lot of similarities in many regards.
It's going to be an Ironman football contest tonight once again. Pocket change laundry first down for the Warhorses of Owen. Quarterback feigned to give, but kept it himself, and he's down to the 22-yard line. Let's give a little love to those guys up front, Tom. Got Tanner Lofton, left tackle. You got Wyatt Autry, left guard. You mentioned the center just a moment ago, who they run off regularly, Camden McDonald and Camden DeBlane on the other side. That group responsible for opening up some space tonight.
Well, they average 224 yards rushing per game. 85% of their plays are on the ground, and if you average 5.6, I mean, we're not math majors up here, but that's pretty good. You might pick up a first down every now and then.
And let me be clear, Camden D'Antone along with Camden McDonald, the two Camdens on that right side. Give credit where credit's due to that group making space for the ball carriers tonight on the Owen side of things. They're small again. Take another look as they work into the first bank red zone.
Yeah, that time we saw the pitch outside. Nice job of the cornerback off that way. Jesse Moore, a sophomore who came in from Florida, making the play to bring him down there. So what we've seen in just this first possession, a number of different ways they can run the football, and at any time they could break a big one. We saw earlier, he just joined us, a big 43-yard run for a touchdown. First time they touched the football.
After a 38-yard kickoff return, those are the two big plays on that one. The special teams play that set it up at midfield, and the 43-yard run you mentioned that capped it. First bank red zone chance, 23 locations across western North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina to serve you. That's 23 locations in the Carolinas, in this region of it. First Bank, sponsors of the First Bank Red Zone tonight. This was close enough, Tom, that they are going to measure it ahead of the next opportunity that's coming for Owen here. Bring out the chains, and they got to come all the way across the field this time and stretch it out. It would appear initially, well, they're really going to have to stretch this thing out, and it's going to be a first down. If ever the nose of the football is appropriate, right here, right now.
That's the old cliche, right? You bring the credit card out, but you know, if it hadn't been, then what would we have had? We'd had another first down.
There you go. Ends up being a pocket change laundry first down as they set it all up at the 18-yard line.
Let's put the chip in the ball, you know, like they talk about.
Oh, come on, Tom. There's something about the 10-yard fight and stretching those chains out just to make sure.
You know what? And back in the day, I did that a long time ago again. And, you know, it's semi-accurate, I might tell you, depending on who's running the chain.
But the drama of it all, it's a part of the history of this game on the gridiron, that's for sure. 5 and change to go. Opening period. Opening drive continues for Owen. To the air again, had it set up, but this is in behind the intended target, small. A flag will come out, and judging from how that was thrown, where it was thrown, it looks as if it's going to be interference. That ball a little too tall for small, but it may set Owen up nicely nonetheless.
You know, in our conversations with Coach John Faircloth in his second year, talking about Owen and the throwing game, they don't do it much. We talked 224 on the ground, 45.5 through the air. That's it. 15 to 28 coming in. And if they throw the football, they're looking for the big play. And they got a big play there because of the contact at the point of attack.
On the 10th play of the drive, and this will march him down just inside the 10-yard line. So the First Bank red zone chance continues, and the Warhorses putting together a sustained drive here, looking for an equalizing score in the first period. Emmett Minks, he's joined by Anderson there. Anderson directing a little traffic, and it's going to be handed to Anderson, and he's moving with the pile toward the goal line and turned aside at the 1. So just a yard or so shy as Steven Anderson followed the big boys through the tunnel.
Yeah, Styler Blackwell, he made the tackle inside, the leading tackler. 28 tackles coming in, a couple for loss, but boy, that momentum. And again, way it's set up, if you look at those that are watching, of course, that just right behind the quarterback there, and the surge got him a good gain, and then the momentum propelled him even farther down the field.
Anderson at 5'9", 160 pounds. He's in his junior campaign. He's caught 1 touchdown this year and has rushed for 4 of them. He's rushed for over 200 yards this season. Timeout being called for, and the officials wanting to talk it over. Have not introduced you to our officials yet tonight. Brian O'Mary is our referee. Jason Luttrell is the umpire. The line judge is Kendall Fox. The linesman is Joseph Gibson, and our back judge is Preston Brown. Clock being run by Russell Wilson tonight. That's a football name for you, right?
Yeah, sir. Yeah,
different Russell Wilson doing a nice job for us in here.
Didn't know he did double duty.
As he is on the clock. Well, here's the thing, you know, you're going to be around the gridiron, you got to have a football name, and that's a good one for sure. Here's a handoff again, or actually keeping it himself, is Minks going right of everything, and he too is going to stop just short of the goal line. So a 3rd down and goal is coming as you look at the push from that front of Polk here.
That's outstanding. The guys up front getting it done defensively, and one of the keys we talked about a little bit different probably when they're near the goal line, but 3rd down efficiency, and these are teams that'll both go for it on 4th down as well.
Simpson, Wilson, Montgomery, Hill among those called upon up front tonight at times. And it's going to be handed to Anderson, and he does break the plane. Rumbles all into the end zone, and Steven Anderson will be the first to secure a Foundation Solutions touchdown on the Owen side of things. Both teams with a single drive, both ending in Foundation Solutions touchdowns. And did we mention, because both these teams keep it on the ground, the first period's going to pass you pretty quickly? 3 and change, all that remains after 1 possession on each side.
You know, I know it's early in the ball game, but I thought that was a pretty good response after the 43-yard run by Polk County to get him on the board. Nice job by Owen.
Double-digit play total. You remember, up above 10 plays on that drive to find pay dirt. And the left-footed kick is end over end and true off the foot of you-know-who. Burpo drives it home, and the drive came to an end on this Steven Anderson Foundation Solutions touchdown run to knot us up at 7 apiece. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles for great choices from the Ingles Deli, rotisserie chicken, freshly made salads, and a delicious hot bar and sub bar. Dinner and a snap, then it's off to the game. Ingles, low prices, love the savings. Very different drives. Same result, though. A touchdown on the board for both teams. 5 plays, 53 yards for Polk. Well, 13 plays, 70 yards for Owen. And a 1-yard run as opposed to a 43-yard run for the touchdown. This one belonging to Anderson on the Owen side of things. And Tom Burpo, well, he just stays true on those extra points as well.
Yeah, he's 10 out of 10. We talked about his ability on both sides of the ball and what he can do. He can kick off as well. And on kicks this year, he's got 4 touchbacks. So he's pretty good in those areas as well. So talked about the 43-yard run. It's not how, but how many and how you get there. Got a good one going here early on here from Polk County.
3 and change left to go in the first period. Both teams making use of their opening possession. And I think you could say this is the type of contest that most expected to see when they came out tonight.
Yeah, I think so as well, and the importance of it because it's a conference game, and both these programs with good history and trying to get back to where they can be contenders not only in the conference but at the state level as well.
Backpedaling to about the 2-yard line before taking off with it this time around is Simpson, and he slips as he tries to reverse field at the 15, and that's where the drive will begin for Polk County. They're actually going to mark this, well, somewhere between the 14-15. We'll see. But Tom trying to make something happen here, but just couldn't keep his footing.
I'll tell you what, he did a great job to get out of that. And if he can get out on the edge there, he might have some distance there. Both coaches we talked to this week, special teams key usually always is at a football game, but we've seen early on with some good kickoff returns, a good field position.
Also good to see, particularly for his team, that Nolan Simpson's name was called and he was back out there. Remember, he was the player that went into the tent earlier on the defensive side of the football for Polk County. And this is going to be kept on the ground, as you might expect. You'll hear us say that regularly tonight. Going to be in the grasp of the guy who rushed for that 43-yard touchdown a moment ago, Sanchez, but he is drugged down after a gain of about 4. Here's a look at it. Boy, the pursuit from behind really grabs your attention. Nicely done there by Talon Lynch, a senior on that defense.
Yeah, getting an opportunity to play, and you'll see a lot of different folks in and out, even though it's going to go both ways quite a bit.
Boy, right there on the spot. Well, you said Obispo is going to be a name we will call over and over again tonight. Here he is, Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, 5'9", 210, and able to blow it up inside. That doesn't happen very often at all against Sanchez. And the one thing you don't want to do is for either one of these teams, because they run it in different ways, is to get behind the sticks.
Rio Obispo, another of the seniors for Owen, filling up your screen as we close in on the final 2 minutes of this opening period. Polk not starting with the field position they enjoyed the last time around after taking the opening kickoff back to midfield. Here trying to get something going from behind the sticks on 3rd down at the 13-yard line. They need the 25 to assure themselves a movement of the chains. Throwing for it, and that's going to be picked off over the middle. Autry was waiting on it, and he'll return it to the 24-yard line. Emerson Autry snatches it out of the sky, and there's the first takeaway of the football game.
Yeah, he's got a couple of guys that he can go to, Blackwell or on the outside as well, Simpson, but a little bit overthrown there. You get one more look at it, and, you know, just playing out there and breaks on the ball, a little bit overthrown, had it covered underneath, and on the backside, good INT.
Here is Emerson Autry setting his team up in a nice spot. Autry, who is a junior who handles some of the rushing responsibilities on the offensive side of the football, but 17 tackles, a couple of them were for loss, and that is his 2nd interception of the season. Emerson Autry with the takeaway. Now John Faircloth's crew back to work. You know, one thing they'll do is mix it up on you, and here's a toss toward the end zone, just out of the reach, the outstretched arms of Slade Gardner, the intended target, the 10th grader. It is incomplete.
Yeah, they don't throw it all that much. Big guy, 6'4", 195.
You keep saying that, but we keep seeing him throw the football.
I know, that's what I love about this, because, you know, you're looking at what you think might happen. First play of the game they do, and I mean, that keeps you honest defensively. I love the fact they took a shot downfield.
But what you have to love here, Tom, John Faircloth pulling out all the stops tonight. You know, one thing we learned, his team, and you can tell from the community involvements and environments, really rallying in behind the head coach of the Owen War Horses, you know, there were those times at RS down in this neck of the woods, but the connections, the family connections thick in the school district, and he really has this team rallying around him. Now they're going to be turned aside here, and that's big 5-7 doing the turning aside.
Yeah, nothing up inside at all. So, but if you throw it deep, it's incomplete. Get you second and long, and outstanding play defensively there.
LaShai Miller comes in there, the senior, and makes the stop. He can fill up some of those gaps, does it nicely here to force a third down. Inside the final minute of the opening half, or opening period, I should say, but just the second possession of the football game for Owen, as these two teams, playing to their style for the most part, have played to a 7-7 affair. And this is going to be Burpo, and he's good for 5 or 6, but going to be third down. Or actually, check that. Here is the third down play. Going to be fourth, and still some work to do for Owen. Take another look as he tries to weave through traffic.
Yeah, we've seen him on a number of occasions get that ball coming out of the motion set there, and they wind it down into the first quarter.
It appears they're going to let this first quarter pass us by, make a decision about the fourth down play and what to run on the other side. Football's going to belong to John Faircloth and company when you return to Columbus, but a fourth down coming and a tie football game on a beautiful night. Pretty sure I saw Joey and Bobby Roussel moving around down there a little bit earlier tonight. Of course, Bobby and Joey here for the halftime festivities, and Asheville Chevy, as they have been for some time now on Friday Night Rivals, sponsors of the halftime show. You'll want to stick around for the Asheville Chevy show at the half. You'll learn more about both these schools. We'll have stats, highlights, a whole lot more, including the Roussels, all going to be a part of the Asheville Chevy show at the half. We're going to be there quicker than you think. One period gone, just a couple of possessions on each side. And the second possession for Owen is hanging in the balance. 62 yards of total offense for Polk, 54 yards of total offense in that first period for Owen. War Horses, Coach Faircloth and company with a decision to make on fourth down about what to call, as they need 4, and it's a long 4, in order to secure a movement of the chains. Not only would it move the chains, keep the drive alive, give them a chance to reclaim the lead. Here comes the opening play of the second quarter on Friday Night Rivals. Toss. Seeing a gap and taking it right through it is Anderson. He had the touchdown run earlier. He has the first down run here. Anderson grabbed this football as if he had designs on maybe doing something else with it all of a sudden, Tom. But he tucked it and found a seam, and he keeps the drive rolling.
You know, I think the best part about that is a little toss sweep, give your guys out in front to block, but he didn't get ahead of himself. He waited, saw the crease there, and accelerated, and enough for the first down, and even more after that.
So much keying on Hayden Burpo, and rightfully so. And Steven Anderson stealing the headlines in the early going here, Tom. Has a touchdown run, now the key first down run, and he keeps the War Horses in business in the early stages of the second quarter. Remember, we told you that was his 5th touchdown run of the year earlier. This is going to be given to Hayden Small, and he runs into a bunch of blue jerseys near side on the first down play.
And what you like about that too is the misdirection, because you got to see where Burpo's going. He's headed the other way. They come back across the grain. Your first step defensively, in many cases, is toward where Burpo was. Down to get recover. Good job to come up and help make the tackle of Zach McCraw there as a junior. And I think we also saw Styler Blackwell, one of their outstanding middle linebackers.
4 different ball carriers for Owen to this point. 14 yards for Burpo, 17 for Minks, the QB on keepers. Small has touched it a couple of times for just a handful of yards, and Anderson leads the way with 25 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown. But evenly distributed for the most part, those chances for the Owen Warhorses. And another time, Minks looks to the skies, has a guy, guess who? Anderson, and he is in there for a touchdown. Finds the front corner pylon, and now Steven Anderson has rushed for a touchdown and caught a touchdown for Owen. And this Foundation Solutions TD puts Owen out front for the first time in this one.
Yeah, really good job to swing wide and throw it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, what was that you were saying about throwing and running? Don't you love a Friday night?
You do,
just
you know, and
never
you love the chess match between trying to guess and what's going on.
You just never know. But so much of what has happened on those rare occasions through the air set up by the good work for these Warhorses on the ground. And Owen takes the lead. A passing touchdown to Steven Anderson. That Foundation Solutions TD putting the visitors out front. Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS Friday Night Football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Head to Bojangles and order the tailgate box today. Not a tailgate without Bojangles. It's bow time. Back-to-back scores for the Warhorses of Owen after the key INT by Emerson Autry, which bridged them. And this most recent drive, 6 plays, 24 yards. 2 minutes 41 seconds across the end of the first period, the start of the second, and Tom, it was an 8-yard touchdown pass to Anderson this time to make it 14-7 Warhorses.
Yeah, they're able to get some success through the air. We've seen them on a different number of occasions with different running backs getting involved. It's been a good start for Owen in this one after they got behind early 7-0.
Can't see Owen out here having success without thinking about our broadcast colleague and our broadcast partner, Kenny Ford. Know he's out there. Miss you, pal. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Kenny Ford, who is responsible for what related to Owen, Tom? The most recent.
Yeah, 2014, last winning season.
And he had a lot of them, a lot of battles with this particular team and across this conference, really leaving his mark. The Hall of Famer, of course, on Western North Carolina. He'd probably be pleased with what he's seeing from the Warhorses right now.
Yeah, I think so as well. You know, they've shown some versatility. Of course, Kenny, tough guy, and you know that's what we saw those Owen teams and how good they were. And I mean, the shirt that they have now, tough on it and things like that, that comes from a community. And you know, our thoughts and prayers obviously with those in Western North Carolina as they try to rebuild as well.
Yeah, we're still thinking about everybody in the valley, that's for sure, and all across the state of North Carolina, certainly the western portion of it. But boy, they showed their character and their toughness in ways unthinkable in recent days and continue to do it on the gridiron on nights like this. And flags fly before Polk can go to work. 10:40 in the second period. Remember, Polk on that first drive, as they're backed up a little bit here on the flag, big kickoff return to set it up at midfield, then the 43-yard touchdown run from Sanchez, but backed up in their own territory for the second drive, Tom, and it ended with the interception. His team looking to change that scenario. Guy with plenty of connections to the Clemson Tigers, Dustin Fry, roaming that sideline. And we mentioned for Dustin Fry as he sends his troops back out there, keeps it on the ground with Sanchez one more time. What a player he's found there. Not only the Clemson connection and background, but he is well traveled around the sport of football and has been quite a find for him here at Polk.
Yeah, 2002 to 2000. 5 years, I should say, at Clemson. Then he was taken to the 5th round by St. Louis, and they had 4 different NFL teams. He also was on staff at Arkansas and SMU with Chad Morris, who at one time obviously was at Clemson as an offensive coordinator. So he has tremendous experience in that regard as well.
Change of pace to come back here, not necessarily to take a football coaching job, but decided to lend his skills and his knowledge of the game to this community, and the rest in some ways history as he ends up being called upon once the vacancy takes place. Tried to make a decision for his family, put everybody in a good spot on that vein, and in the end has ended up being the head coach of the Wolverines. He'll be a little disappointed with what happened on this play, but tuck that one away for the future. It's going to be 3rd down from behind the sticks, but suffice it to say, Dustin Fry, a guy who's well-traveled, well-versed in this game of football, and he's quite a guy at the helm of this Polk program.
And you see John Faircloth there on the Owen sideline, and what he has been able to do. This is his 2nd year, just 3rd for Dustin, and you know, helped out. And we know Bruce Allis over the course of the years, a couple of different places, and what he meant to Polk as well. 43 yards coaching.
Yeah, I mentioned Kenny a moment ago. Kenny Ford, Bruce Allis. You think about the history of this rivalry. These two programs can't do it without thinking about those two gentlemen. This is a nice toss. Both these teams can go to the air when they need to. On this occasion, it's for a 1st down. And look who reels it in. Lorenzo Sanchez once more. You can move the chains.
Well, we talked about his ability, obviously, to run the football, but he had 8 catches, 79 yards, about 10 yards per catch. A much-needed one there, though.
They're going quickly here as they keep it on the ground. Here's Sanchez. He's got about half the yardage needed on the 1st down carry, and the clock dips toward 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half of action. So a little bit of rhythm now beginning to develop for the Wolverines.
Well, they're 231 rush per game. 75% of their plays come that way.
Rushing toward midfield again. That's going to be near 1st down yardage. In fact, they're going to say forward progress gives him a 1st down on the latest of Sanchez carries. You know, Sanchez carries so much of the load for Polk County, and a drive like this reminds you just how that looks beyond the numbers.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. 96% of all the yards rushing this year have come from him. 76% of all the carries have come from him. He's had a couple of games more than he averages 224 yards rushing per game, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it.
1st down play, another dose. Sanchez up across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And 2nd down is coming.
Thomas Russell in there to make that play. He's an interesting guy. He was a running back last year, scout team running back, and then Coach Tellerman went to 5 different camps, football camps, to get better over the summer.
We told you about 4 different individuals carrying the football for Owen a bit ago. How about 1 individual carrying the football for Polk? 10 carries, 82 yards. That'll make them smile on the Polk County side of things when Sanchez is toting the rock the way he has in this one, including the 43-yard touchdown run. And our Smile Cam tonight brought to you by Caroline Albee Orthodontics, proud sponsors of our Smile Cam. They've got the ability to serve you in Asheville, Hendersonville, and Brevard. That's Caroline Albee Orthodontics, proud sponsors of our Smile Cam tonight. Think about that. 4 different guys, we gave you the numbers. 1 single individual, 11, now 92, and he's averaging right at 8 per carry, Tom. Not a bad start for Sanchez. Now 43 on 1 will help you with that overall average, but he's been impressive.
So what was one of our keys, Jason? John Faircloth told us, slow down number 4, if you can.
And that's up across the 30 to the 29.
But again, Jason, and we give a lot of props, and justifiably so, to Sanchez. The guys up front pave the way and provide him with the opportunity to get a game like he did right there.
just went up over 100 yards on his 13th carry. 13 carries, 106 yards, and again, over 8 per slice. And with 7 and change in the first half, here is another individual, believe it or not, called upon to rush the football. This is going to be Micah Hills, who has his name called, another of the seniors. And at some point, you got to give the guy a breather, right? Here's Hills to do so.
Yeah, good job by him. We'll see him play defensive end as well. But you gave those numbers a moment ago. So at 106, he came in with 898. So he has now gone over 1,000 yards, and we can do the math. This is the 5th game.
That's the one we were looking for, right? Already able to get there. What an impressive start to the season it's been for Sanchez on that milestone watch. Here's the 2nd down play. And another carry for Hills, who is down to the 18-yard line, working it into the First Bank red zone. So a First Bank red zone chance set up on this carry from Hills.
We have done a couple of games and involving teams that keep it on the ground, and there were 7 possessions one half that we did with North Buncombe Madison, and then with Chesney and RS Central, they're about 10 in the first half.
Not anywhere close to that here.
Here we go, man. You're going to get the ball a couple of times. You better do something with it.
Another First Bank red zone chance. This one from just inside the 19, and another toss and catch, well executed. Nolan Simpson reels it in down at the 8-yard line, and there's a flag that dropped at the 21, so we'll see if it's consequential to the Simpson catch. It's going to be against Polk, and it'll back the Wolverines up just a bit. So just talked about the First Bank red zone opportunity that had been created. They're going to be back outside that red zone now after the flag.
You know, we were talking about Owen. They only throw the ball, have thrown it 28 times, coming in 7 per game, only 12 per game for Polk County as well. They're 112 throwing the football and 55%. But Simpson's the 2nd leading receiver, and they'll get involved with Tyler Blackwell as well. He's an outstanding tight end. He'll get involved, averaging 24 yards per catch this year on 12.
Penalized 5 times for half a football field already on the Polk side of things. One statistic worth keeping an eye on. But looking to get a lot of that penalty yardage back. Sanchez in business again, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. Lorenzo Sanchez, you could see why they want it in his hands as often as possible, Tom, because he proves very elusive as a back.
Yeah, and you think maybe in a situation like that, you might think about throwing it again. They almost run over the official there, but they just handed up inside and got great yardage.
Sanchez again inside the 10. A flag comes in at around the 14, so this may be coming back as well.
And the amazing thing to me so far, and we talk about the option offense and the ability on the other side with Owen, as we get the call there and a hold, it's going to come back. Most of the yardage by Sanchez has come between the tackles.
Well, and look at what's happening on this drive for Polk. They have now doubled up Owen in total offensive yards, 145 to 73, even though Owen has doubled them up right now on the scoreboard. But this drive obviously can change that. Things really beginning to come together statistically for Polk at this point. Once again, those numbers for you: 145 total offense for Polk, 73 for the Warhorses of Owen, even though Owen leads at 14-7 where it counts right now.
The interception gives you the ball at the 24 yard.
Yes, it does.
And John Fairclough told us this week that his team probably practices as much as any high school team anywhere on special teams play.
See what kind of dividends that pays before the night is done. Sanchez still weaving through traffic down to the 15. And our clock goes inside 4:45 to play in the opening half. I got to ask you before it's completely gone, as we get one more look at this rush by Sanchez, what are your impressions so far in this first half on both sides?
I think it's a little bit what we expected to establish the running game. Maybe from Owen's standpoint, they've thrown the ball a little bit more than I thought they would, but they've established what they want to do. They've gotten 3 or 4 different guys involved, and it's been the Sanchez show basically. But I also think Mixon's shown an ability to throw the football as well.
14 plays on this drive and swallowed up immediately by Bear Dasher. Did he live up to the name right there? 100%. Bear Dasher in there to blow it up. And he wasn't alone, Tom. There has been continuous pressure from a guy who we introduced to you fairly early on in this one, and that's Mr. Obese.
Yeah, those two guys combined there. And again, up front, able to make the play there defensively to get off the blocks, which is awfully difficult to do.
Well, about 3:45 and ticking downward away from the Asheville Chevy show at the half, as Blake Anderson sets up for what will be right at a 34-yard field goal try. Middle of the hash, but it is deflected, blocked, and covered up by Owen. So the scoring opportunity turned aside as Polk County will come away empty on this 15-plus play drive time. You talk about how much they rolled up numbers-wise, how much they rolled up plays-wise, but in the end, a push to get in there and deflect it away for Owen.
Yeah, they were able to get it done, trying to identify who maybe in there was able to make that play. But the bottom line was, and again, Blake Anderson is an interesting story as a soccer guy as well, and with good range, but the defense prevailed there. So you're going to come back out now, and you've got your defense got the job done, and you're going to get it over deep in your own territory. 3:25. You still got plenty of time here in the first half, but you know, we mentioned before, it doesn't count until they get it into the end zone or they can get it through the uprights. Nice job defensively.
So Owen back to work on the ground as it's inside 3.5 minutes. Tom, let's take one more look at this block and see, you know, the push that you get in there, and boy, right away.
I think it was Bear Dasher, maybe.
Yeah, well, look at there, Bear Dasher. He had the play prior to that, which forced the try, and it's Bear Dasher who gets in there and blocks it away to be fallen on by Thomas Russell, and Owen turns aside any scoring for Polk County.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the turnovers, how important it was, and what they talked about in that particular regard, and then we talked about the special teams as well a little bit earlier too, and the importance, and they were able to get it done there with the blocked field goal.
2:40 and downward it ticks. And here's a pass incomplete. And that reminds us that stop just a moment ago for Owen, that prior to the end of the contest, we're going to have the school bus stop of the game. A reminder that during the fourth quarter, we will highlight the school bus stop of the game. It's every state, everywhere, every time. When you see the stop sign go out and the stop arm go out when the lights are flashing, you have to stop. That's true anywhere around the country, and you'll want to stick around for our school bus stop of the game prior to the conclusion of tonight's contest. You may have seen it a moment ago. Only time will tell. 1 for 2 on third downs thus far in the contest are the Warhorses. They try it again here. Rolling out there and deciding to toss it, you know, was able to dump that in the direction of Hayden Small, but it is incomplete, and fourth down is coming. Now, you glance up at the game clock, Tom, 2:27 to work with, and Polk should get fairly decent field position here. So the Wolverines are going to pretty quickly get one more crack at it at least here in the second quarter.
Well, Owen got it back after they had the fine play there on the blocked field goal attempt, and then didn't get a whole lot of first down. Tried to throw it on second down, and they're behind the chains. That stops the clock. So that possession there was less than a minute, and we've seen them consume it up to about 7 minutes on some of the drives. So that was a big deal to have a couple of incomplete passes.
Well, and keep in mind for the Warhorses, and here's a try from deep in their own territory. It was red, and a major collision right at the marker, and I mean that's very close to the first down marker, and a flag comes out simultaneously with a big hit at 2:16 first half. This is going to be a very important penalty, and that's going to be a very critical spot depending on whether the penalty affects ultimately the outcome of this drive. How about a time and a place to fake one? This is going to be against the Wolverines. And it works out for Owen. Well, I'll say this. No lack of gutsy calls from Coach Faircloth and company here as they take off from deep in their own territory. Ends up paying off in the end due to the penalty.
Well, he told us during the course of the week that these are some things that given opportunity, they may try. That's a gutsy call right there. Late in the first half, 14-7 lead on the road, and it proved to be a good one.
Well, just going to make a point a moment ago that you remember now, his team is going to get the football to start the third quarter. So important for them to keep that 7-point lead in effect and look to add to it with a multi-possession advantage. You know, this looks as if it's going to help them do just that, because I'm with you. You know, you had the incomplete pass, which stopped the clock, made it look like the Wolverines may have a chance to perhaps equalize. Instead, his team can now salt away this first half, perhaps add to the lead, knowing they're going to get the football in the third.
And look who your punter is.
Yep.
What he can do.
Makes a difference when you can put Mr. Burpo back there.
It adds an element that a lot of teams don't have.
Well, Hayden Burpo, you know, we referenced it earlier. It's worth mentioning. He's a guy, a Valley guy through and through. When you talk about his background, they go all the way back, really, to those family connections on both sides that give him not only beyond the numbers, the strength of that scenario. How about this play? R.J. Simpson comes up and makes the stop. Now, our officials are going to talk about this one more time at 1:53 to play. It's going to be a holding penalty against Owen here on the flag when all is said and done. They'll talk it over with Coach Dustin Fry to see how he wants to handle it. The time is important right now as downs. When you talk about chances in this first half, you get another look at the play itself.
Boy, watch that. I mean, they did a great job, kind of slow play it and waited, wanted to pitch it. And boy, coming up with the secondary, and he's a freshman, R.J. Simpson, to make that play from the cornerback. The guys up front strung it out enough where his momentum can carry him into the backfield and make a big hit there. Well done defensively. It's a Polk County team that has given up 32 points per game this year, and Owen averaging 24 points.
Still 95 seconds remaining in the opening half. And this is a third down. Going to be tossed up to Small, and he's going to weave through traffic. He's got a first down. So you had a fourth down conversion on the punt scenario a moment ago. You get a third down conversion here. Both of them serve to play keep away from Polk.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great call, I think, in that circumstance. You didn't throw it downfield, dump it out of the flat, let him see what he can do, and he did well with it as Micah Hills comes up, makes that play there. But, you know, put him in a position, just toss it out there rather than to sit back there and let the pressure come in, try to read it, and maybe get yourself in a difficult situation.
The prolific passing game of the Owen Warhorses on display in this first half. A passing touchdown to Anderson earlier, and they take it and loft it out to Anderson on cue and on time. One more time here after a third down conversion in the grasp of Small. And the combo of Small and Anderson taking it down inside a minute now. Look at this little toss.
Well, you know, and you talk about running the football, just get it out on the edge, maybe an extended running play. There's a guy that's used to running it A and catching it B, and he did a pretty good job there.
Well, he's done that tonight. Has a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown on the night. Responsible for both scores for his Warhorses. There's a look at the head man, John Faircloth, and of course, Jeff Greer, Daniel Evans, Matt Hollifield, Jack Slaughter, Matt Turner, all coming together as the assistants to complete this staff for an Owen team that has come down the hill. And it's been downhill for Owen so far in this one. They're up 14-7 with the football, 48 seconds to go against his homestanding Wolverines.
Yeah, Coach Faircloth, in our conversation this week, this is where he wants to be. And they call it the Valley, and just did an outstanding job there. And his background, collegiate level, is a couple of different places as well. And he said he on a defensive side of things, that he kind of helped develop one at Robert Morris and didn't think maybe the high school might be a little bit too complicated. But he says they're so far anyway doing what he anticipated that they could do, and it'll get better as the season goes on and as the years go by at Owen.
Second down for the Warhorses inside the 45-yard line. Way up top. Adjustment made, and it's in and out of the hands of his intended target, Hayden Burpo. Well, this was right there for the taking.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Just get one-on-one coverage and pretty good defensive coverage. Got that head turned back around a little bit just in time. Grayson Clancy over there defending.
How much do you love the ball that Minks threw right there? Right on the money. Gave his receiver a chance. Minks is 4 of 8 for 34 yards. Of course, did have the touchdown toss to Anderson. Did have the first down toss a moment ago on 3rd down where the conversion was made. So here's an individual that has done his job through the air as well as on the ground tonight. 42 ticks remaining. Opening half between here and the Asheville Chevy show, which is coming up in moments. The question, will the Warhorses add more to what is currently a 7-point lead? Reminder, this group gets the football to start the 3rd quarter. Minks up top again. This time it is caught. A little tougher catch this time for Burpo, but he gets the job done. Move the chains.
Just got inside of Grayson Clancy. This time it was a curl-in pattern there rather than throw it up one-on-one. Nice job. Got that inside position. Made the catch. Moved the chains.
There's a comfort level with these tosses. There is a 5th completion in a 9th try. And flags come down as Minks rolls out again in another passing scenario, and he just tosses this aside. Incomplete. 21 seconds. There is a flag to sort out here. And most of these one opposite the home team in terms of the calls tonight. This one will be against Owen, so the Warhorses will back up just a little bit more. All right, Tom, 21 seconds to take for a spin here. What's your thought process if you're John Faircloth and company?
I still think you want to, be aggressive to a certain extent, but you need to be careful. You want to make sure you get into the locker room 14-7. But you mentioned a moment ago the 9 passes. They average only 7 per game, but I think they've been in a situation too where, and they've done a nice job of getting it out on the edge very quickly to provide opportunity downfield. But then we saw it throw deep. So they've showed a variety of formations out of the passing game here in the first half.
Yeah, 48 yards through the air in this one, and 63 yards on the ground. How it is added up for Owen. And another toss. This one appears incomplete. Falls to the turf with 14 seconds remaining and a 3rd down play coming. Here's the little delivery out far side, and you can see it one hop into the hands of his intended target.
Well, and if you're thinking about from Owen's standpoint, Burpo is the place kicker, and he came up just about a couple of feet shy in a 47-yard attempt earlier this year. So he does have that kind of range if they could get a little bit more.
Yeah, you'd be pushing 50 right here, depending upon what happens with this particular play. 2nd down, 14 seconds to go, and Anderson's going to work his way through the big bodies up front. There is a flag that comes in at the 34, and the clock ultimately stops with 5 ticks remaining in the opening half. A lot of face time in the last several moments for our referee, Brian O'Mary. Let's see what the call is here. Another motion penalty against, a procedure penalty against the Warhorses. See if you see something here.
I'll tell you what, Anderson's hard to break down, but what you love for the most part there until his arm got pulled free was the fact that he just had both hands around, make sure you didn't cough it up there.
Been a good night so far for Steven Anderson. He has a rushing touchdown. He has a receiving touchdown, and with just 5 seconds remaining in the half, Owen to talk over what they're going to do with what you would expect to be the final play before the intermission.
Yeah, it's been an interesting first half, and we'll break it down as we go a little bit further into the broadcast, but only 3 possessions for Polk County.
Homecoming tonight here at Polk County as well. You get a look at some of those that are going to be a part of the homecoming court coming up in just a bit. And so many festivities, and we appreciate the way the folks here at Polk County have taken care of us. Some time with the AD earlier. Met her son, one of the great baseball players. We'll talk about the baseball program around here. We end up with a great night of football. These 2 teams separated by 1 score. Of course, well taken care of by both Aaron Green, one-time superintendent. Now the Golden Pipes that you listen to when you come here to the contest, right? And Todd Murphy as well, who's handling multiple responsibilities, wearing all kind of hats to make sure everything goes well, and the current super. And you just think about all those that make it possible for nights like this to happen. And we're grateful to all those who have made it a comfortable visit to Polk County. You know, Tom, the first place we ever came in the state of North Carolina, right here in the land of the Wolverines.
It was.
Polk County, right at a decade ago, ended up being a 28-27 final of the first ever live high school football broadcast in the state of North Carolina right around a decade ago. So anytime you come back here, you have memories of what was a very special night, and all the nights that have followed on Friday Night Rivals jump-started by what happened right here at Polk County on that beautiful night.
I know you and I have been all over the place.
And we're very grateful for it, and all those administrators who make it possible night in and night out, places just like this.
And the cuisine we get, too, wherever we go in North Carolina.
You have to watch it, but it certainly is enjoyable. Second down, it is more about the time right now. With this the final play of the half, and blue jerseys to swallow up the QB, as 14-7 is going to be our halftime score. We go into the Asheville Chevy show after a sack to bring it to a halt, but the first half belongs to the Warhorses of Owen. A couple of touchdowns, one rushing, one receiving for Steven Anderson. And under the direction of Minks, with the good work from Burpo, it has all added up to the visitors carrying a one-score advantage into the break. And going to be interesting to see what Coach Faircloth has to say about the way his team performed in this first half, with the knowledge, Tom, that they will also have the football to start the second half and the momentum of carrying the lead into the break.
I tell you what, they were aggressive down the stretch, and you know that play call on the punt, there eventually was a penalty at the end of that, but for Burpo to fake it deep in their own territory in a 14-7 game, and that came with about 2:13 to go after it had been about a minute. That was it. A couple of incomplete passes. That was a big call.
Well, now time to hear from the head man of the Warhorses. He's standing by with Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. So, Coach, I got to tell you, this shaped up to be the exciting rivalry match that we all hoped it was going to be. You guys currently are up by a touchdown. What were your thoughts on the first half, Coach?
Yeah, you know, we did a good job of making a couple plays early, still in a possession with that turnover, which, you know, excited about that. But we've got to be better at situational football, and it starts with me, right? That last drive, we had plenty of time, plenty of timeouts, and, you know, we're just not executing the way that we're capable of executing in a critical situation. And it starts with me. You know, I've got to slow it down for them and put them in better situations. So, you know, we'll get in there right now. We'll talk about a couple things, get it fixed, get the ball coming out at half, and you know, hopefully we can play a really good 24 minutes.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
Thinking about what might have been, we all do, but it's all about what still can be in the second half, which is right around the corner. His team will have a one-score advantage and the football when football resumes, but a lot to do on the Asheville Chevy show between here and there. Stick around. Much more from Columbus after the break.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals Halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Joining me are the proud halftime sponsors from the eponymously named Asheville Chevrolet, Bobby and Joey Roussel. The Roussel men, welcome to the halftime show.
Glad to be here, Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Nelson.
Yes, sir. Well, now, gentlemen, let's talk, because we all know no great halftime show is complete without the famous Bobby and Joey Roussel first half assessment. So, Bobby, kick it off for us.
Well, it's been a good game. It looks like Owen is going to pull it out right at before the end.
Yeah.
But I think they still got a good chance in this game, and we've got a lot of defense left to play.
Indeed. Joe, you want to add to that?
I just want to give a shout-out to Lorenzo Sanchez. He's running the ball real hard.
Indeed he is. So let's talk business, shall we? What's on the lot right now over at Asheville Chevy?
We got a lot of Silverados, a lot of Chevy Traxxas, some great vehicles. Definitely come in for a test drive.
Excellent. Now, gentlemen, you look very handsome in your pink shirts. I gather there's a very important event happening at Asheville Chevy in early October. Is that right?
That is correct. On October 9th, we're having our breast cancer event to sponsor Hope Chest for Women. We're going to have the mobile mammogram bus. We're going to have myself there cooking the authentic Louisiana jambalaya.
That's right.
We're going to have other food. We're going to have games. We're going to have axe throwing. We're going to have sponsors, silent auctions. We're going to have a great time, and we want everybody to come and have a good time.
That does sound like a great time. Now, you mentioned the date just now, Thursday, October the 9th. Now, what time is it?
5:30 to 8:30.
Okay, all right, and everybody's invited, is that right?
Everybody's invited.
Excellent. Now, gentlemen, you know I have to ask, here we are now a year later from Hurricane Helene's devastation. Let's talk about why it's important for y'all to continue to support high school athletics and the region as a whole.
Well, we're real proud to be sponsors of the high school athletics for the scholar athletes out there playing. And like my son reminded me earlier, you know, they're going to be some people that get to see them that never gets to see them, and they might end up going play for a college team.
Very noble. That's very true. Well, gentlemen, as always, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, thank y'all so much for y'all's robust and proud support of high school athletics. We couldn't do it without y'all.
Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Nelson.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Please welcome Paige Masters Whites.
Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete, brought to you by Arby's.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Well, folks, throughout the course of the FNR season, we're going to interview an array of Arby's Scholar Athlete winners here on this show. These Arby's Scholar Athlete winners are eligible to receive a $5,000 scholarship. We are joined now by the Arby's Scholar Athlete winner from Owen High School, Mr. Hayden Burpo. Hayden, my man, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, Hayden, you are a football player, so I have to ask the dual question. What position do you play? And, of course, what are your accomplishments within the sport of football?
Yes, sir. I play a kicker. I do running back, wide receiver, DB, do it all, cover it all.
Wow. How long have you played?
I've been playing for 4 years, ever since I started high school.
Oh, you are quite a superstar. And I gather you're also a baseball superstar as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What position do you play in baseball?
Shortstop, pitcher.
Outstanding. Let's talk about the GPA, my man. I gather you're sitting on a rock-solid 3.7. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're also a member of the National Honor Society, too. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what are your post-high school plans?
Well, I'm not too sure yet. Got a few more camps for kicking. Want to see how those go. And from there, I mean, just follow the plan.
So you could very well be playing football in college. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yes, sir.
Good to know, my man. Now let's shift our focus into the community, because I gather you have quite the presence in the community as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
I love to help the community ever since we gone through Hurricane Helene. It was just really about bringing everybody together, helping everybody out. It became more tightly knit after Hurricane.
Okay. And what inspires you to do this kind of work? You know, what motivates you to give back and invest in the community?
Definitely my parents. Parents were a big factor in it. They, ever since I was growing up, they would always take me out, helping the community, help at church, doing everything we could just to help people.
That all sounds wonderful. And Hayden, before I let you go, I gather you are born to be a bowler. Those are your words. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, why do you feel that?
Man, I just fell in love with bowling ever since a young age. Just loved to play it, had fun. You know, it was a fun little side hobby to do, where I could just, have fun.
I like that. So strikes, touchdowns, and, of course, home runs all together. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yes, sir.
My man. Well, once again, you are our Arby's Scholar Athlete winner.
Thank you.
Of course. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Arby's, we have the meats. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Well, folks, I'm standing here on the sidelines with one of the lovely mamas here at Polk County High. Mom, are you liking this game so far?
Absolutely. We're having a blast.
That's right, Mom. Say, listen, do you mind if I ask you a quick question or two?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. How many cups of water should your child drink if they're in an hour-long soccer game? Is it 2 cups, 4 cups, or 6 cups?
I'm going to go with 4.
That's close, Mom, but it's actually 6 cups. You want to know why? Because young athletes and young superstars out there, they can drink a whole lot more water than what you would think, Mom.
Wow, I learned something new.
We all learned something new tonight, isn't that right, Mom?
Yes.
And guess what? At Mercy Urchin Care, they can help families spot both dehydration as well as heat illness early on.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You learned 2 new things tonight, huh, Mom?
Absolutely.
And before I let you go, can I ask you one final question, Mom?
Sure.
Did you also know that at Mercy Urchin Care, they can offer easy-to-schedule visits for members of the public? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So you learned 1, 2, 3 awesome things tonight, huh, Mom?
I did. Thank you so much.
That's right. Mercy Urchin Care, keeping your superstar and your athlete and your MVP in the game. And speaking of the game, Mom, by my calculations, I'd say halftime is almost over. You about ready to get back to the game?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it, Mom. Bring it in. Ow! Folks, we'll be back in just a moment.
Homecoming festivities continue here at Polk County, and pleasure to have you with us tonight from Columbus. Just a gorgeous night environment-wise, and you got all the pageantry you would expect from Friday night football. The bright lights are out, so many things happening. You think about what we've seen football-wise, Tom, a great football game, and everything that those who've turned out to find out so many other things that are going on tonight could have wanted as well. And we're glad you've chosen to be with us on Friday Night Rivals. Announcements being made about those who are receiving honors in the homecoming court and beyond. As we look back at what we saw in this first half, what are your takeaways from Owen and Polk thus far?
Well, I'll tell you what, every possession is precious in this one because there haven't been a whole lot of them. And Polk's had 3, and the same thing for Owen in the first half. Big interception, set up a short drive, and you look at some of the stats there, and 151 to 105. Owen has done what they needed to do, use that turnover 24-yard drive to get the touchdown. They blocked a field goal as well. So they've done some pretty good things in certain phases of the game. Polk, you knew they're going to rush in 138. You knew that they were going to get it to Sanchez. He's got 126 of those, 16 of the 18 carries he had in the first half. Both teams played 21 plays in the first half. So Sanchez, just to kind of reiterate, has gone over 1,000 yards in his 15.
Each team touched the football 3 times, 13 plays and a touchdown, 6 plays and a touchdown, 13 plays on the end of the half for Owen. For Polk, 5 plays and a touchdown. They had the interception and then 15 plays in the blocked field goal. So you said it when we were talking about at the half. The interception, the blocked field goal, and the 4th down fake that prevented Polk from having another chance. 3 of the moments that really stand out from the first half of action, all of those trending Owen's direction. Well, the homecoming festivities are beginning to wrap up, and it looks like Nelson has caught up with the homecoming queen. Let's find out a little more about some of those special activities going on here at the half tonight at Polk County.
That's right, Tom. We have caught up with the homecoming queen herself, Miss Charlie Dusenberry. And fun fact, folks, she was also our Scholar Athlete winner earlier this afternoon as well. Charlie, how do you feel right now?
I'm so overwhelmed. This is so exciting. I'm so grateful. This is just an awesome experience. I can't thank Polk County enough.
What was going through your mind when you were first crowned homecoming queen, for those who never experienced that phenomenon before?
Well, I'm shaking, first of all, and I'm just like, my mouth is probably wide open. I'm so surprised. I'm so happy and grateful for this. I'm so happy.
It is quite the honor. Who is this handsome gentleman who's escorting you, by the way?
This is my father, Trey Dusenberry. He's the best.
Now, Mr. Dusenberry, how do you feel about your daughter being crowned homecoming queen?
I'm so proud of this girl right here. She's done so much, and she's brought so much happiness to our life.
You've had 2 wins in one day, is that right?
Yes.
Scholar Athlete winner and homecoming queen. Well, congratulations, Charlie. Yes, ma'am. Congratulations. All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Well, we gave you some of the first half numbers. The main number, 14-7, the lead Owen holds over Polk at the break as we welcome you back to Columbus. And here's some of the sights and sounds from the first half of action. And boy, early on time, Lorenzo Sanchez made his presence known.
Yeah, as good as advertised. You see him go the distance on 43 yards as he gets into the end zone, taking early lead over the first possession of the game after a nice kickoff.
Also went over 1,000 when you consider his overall work on the season. But the good work done on the ground, just a part of Steven Anderson's night. He had a rushing touchdown. He would eventually also have a passing touchdown, and responsible for both the scores that Owen secured.
Yeah, had to bang it up inside there to score that one. The defense was able to get it done, and then here comes one of the big plays. Is overthrown. Autry able to pick it off there. It provides them with the opportunity for a short drive for the second touchdown.
Emerson Autry set it up with the INT, and here was that toss to Steven Anderson. That's the passing touchdown to complement the rushing touchdown he has. 14-7 at the break when you add it all up. A couple of teams that simply had 3 touches of the football apiece in the first half. How many will they have this second go round as we are just about set to begin the third quarter of action? Tom, your adjustments in terms of what you see these teams needing to do in the second half?
Well, I think from Polk County standpoint, they threw the one INT. They got down there. They were unable to convert. They had to block field goal. You need to be able to finish.
Nelson working his way over to Dustin Fry, and we now are set for the thoughts of the home head coach on adjustments he may see related to his team as they trail by 1 score at the break. Nelson?
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, we got to know, what was the message to the boys in the locker room just now?
We're beating ourselves right now. Penalties. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, we took their best shot right there, and we probably got 100 yards of penalties on our own right there. So we've got to clean it up, play a better half, and just a cleaner half, because we know what we can do. Got to stop them a little bit better and play a cleaner game of football. Yeah.
All right. Good luck in the second half, Coach. Yes, sir. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
He was close. 7 penalties for 75 yards and a turnover in the first half for his squad. They trail it by a touchdown when you return to Columbus. Well, all kind of ways to entertain yourself on a Friday night in the Carolinas, and we're glad you chose to join us for Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Tom, we referenced adjustments a moment ago. Let's revisit your keys to the game and kind of grade these two teams thus far on how they performed.
Well, you need to tackle Lorenzo Sanchez, and he ended up in the first half with 100+ yards again. He had the 43-yard run for touchdown. He had 16 of the 18 carries on the ground. Turnovers, Owen able to get one. We talked about how much they practice and what a big strength that is. They got a 24-yard drive for the touchdown, and then want to limit the big plays, trying to do that. Polk County, to a certain extent, in the first half, they were able to do that and then establish the run. And they have done that on occasion, but the penalties have hurt them, as you heard Coach talking about.
3 touches, 2 of those touchdowns. The other one the half ended on for his Owen team. And you mentioned Sanchez, 16 carries, 126 yards, a touchdown, and he averages 7.9 per carry in the football game right now. And of course, the big one, the 43-yard touchdown run that stands as the only scoring on the Polk side of things to this point.
Pretty much what he's done all year long. And they'll need to get him involved, which they will in the second half. But this becomes pretty important. And then both, I think, coaches talked about with Owen coming out here to have the ball to start the second half. Because you're not going to have it very much if the first half is indicative of what we might see in the second half.
I was just going to say, a lot of folks would take those numbers for a football game. That was just his half of action. We'll see what he adds to it in terms of Sanchez. And you're right, for Owen, and they continue to make each possession count as they did on the first couple in that initial half. 14-7, the Owen lead. Warhorses quick return up across the 30-35, around the corner and across midfield, finally driven out of bounds inside Polk territory. And they're going to say, well, we'll see. There is a flag down on the other side of the field, so this may not hold for Hayden Burpo. There's a flag down at around the 34. He was just about there on the other side, but it is going to be holding against the return team, and you can negate that big lift he thought he had given the Warhorses to start the half.
Yeah, both teams have been good. We started the ball game with a big return by Polk County by Nolan Simpson at the 48-yard line that eventually scored, and this is a big one that's going to be called back. That's a big penalty.
Another gear for Burpo, and you know, he would have had them about at this spot on the other side of the 50. Instead, Owen going to start from around the 23-yard line. Second half commencing between the Wolverines and the Warhorses. Turned into a very comfortable night. You saw many of the halftime and homecoming festivities. If you stepped away for a moment, Charlie Dusenberry crowned the homecoming queen. We were able to, Nelson was able to visit with her for just an instant. You saw so many of the homecoming related activities. You know, we're told, Tom, that there was a major parade took place down in the town area of Columbus a little bit earlier in the day today. So many festivities that are beyond the football that make Friday nights like this special, and ours certainly is because you've joined us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals.
It's not because we come. It's the Apple Festival and some other
Now, it seems like everywhere you go, you know, there's something very intriguing following you. You kind of bring the party with you week in and week out, Tom. Here comes third down, it would seem. I don't think they're going to say that he reached the sticks for what would be our initial pocket change laundry first down of this second half. Yeah, just a yard or so shy of that. And 10:45 and ticking downward remaining in this third quarter. They're pushing the two teams aside as our officials get together. It doesn't look like, Tom, that they spotted it where it was going to be a first down, but they will, for good measure, bring the chains out to see if where this is spotted, it is in fact a pocket change laundry first down. Chains stretch out, and that appears just short. So as anticipated, a third down play is coming for Owen in the early stages of the third quarter.
Yeah, Owen's had the ball, as we talked about, 3 times. One of them was a big play on a fake punt to keep that drive alive. So this becomes a pretty big play here, and you got a number of different ways you can go with this.
John Faircloth telling us there were some things he wanted to tighten up with his Owen team as they went into the locker room at the intermission. So far tonight on third downs, Owen at 2 for 6 as they line up for a 3rd and 1. Well beyond the marker. It is a pocket change laundry first down. You know, we haven't told you that much yet tonight, but we've shared with you across the course of the season that our friends at Pocket Change Laundry, the sponsors of our first downs in the 1st and 3rd quarter, see it not just as a chore, but an experience in excellence. They take immense pride in being the premier laundry service in the region. They've redefined the standard of laundry care, combining cutting-edge technology with unparalleled customer service and a commitment to quality that has earned them the reputation of being the best in Western North Carolina. That is Pocket Change Laundry, sponsors of our first downs in this 3rd quarter. And trying to break loose is Burpo, but he will be gathered up just shy of the original line of scrimmage here.
We tell you, inside linebacker there is Styler Blackwell, and he came in as the leading tackler with 28, couple of tackle for losses. He has been a catalyst defensively for them tonight.
2-3, eats up the middle of that linebacking group. And 2nd down, and they'll call it 11.
And you see Minks going over to the sideline to get the call. We've seen that a couple of times this year with some teams that we broadcast for. The quarterback heads to the sideline, gets it, and you get back. You still got plenty of time, and you get to the line of scrimmage.
Gets his workout in, right? Quarterback's going to make sure he stays fit. And he's been good with his decision-making tonight. One of the best decisions, turning and handing to Steven Anderson from time to time. He'll opt to do that here. There is a flag in the backfield as Anderson was good for about 4, but you know what that flag location generally means for the offense.
Yeah, and you don't want to get behind the chains to a certain extent, although talked about Owen throwing 10 times first half, 5 out of 10. The team that came in only had thrown 28 times in the first 4 games this year. Both teams come in 2-2. We talked about the similarities. Both had wins at Patton this year, and they broke relatively long losing streaks on the road that they go back to last year when both teams were 1-8. A lot of similarities, about the same number of players, not many seniors, big sophomore classes.
Yeah, a lot of things you can look at, compare and contrast about these teams, but much more to compare than contrast in many ways. Think about it, though. The passing touchdown right now is the difference in the football game, right? Yeah. The reception by Steven Anderson. And, of course, the INT on a passing attempt by Polk that set it all up. And here's a toss to Hayden Small. So I guess for all the talk about the 2 rushing teams coming into this one tonight, the pass that was picked off and the pass that was caught for a touchdown, it's been the passing game that has been the difference maker so far in this one.
Turned out to be the difference. The INT got it at the 24 and then able to get the touchdown at the other end. It had to kind of stretch it out there a little bit. Small getting involved there. Emerson Autry comes over to make that tackle. Saw his picture of his brother a little bit earlier, big offensive lineman as well. So, you know, with both teams, you got some brothers and some cousins. You've got uncles and maybe dads that played at respective schools, which is always pretty cool when we come to the small town.
You hear those familiar names. Remember, it was Emerson Autry who had that interception a little bit earlier in the contest that kind of turned things for Owen, and he ended up setting the stage for what would ultimately be the receiving touchdown that stands as the difference in this contest right now. 3rd down from behind the sticks. This tossed, but enough of the home blue jerseys there to swallow up Thomas Russell. It was tossed his direction. 111 finds another. Here's R.J. Simpson in there to swallow him.
Tell you what, that's a great job there. He's being blocked. He was able to shed that block. Remember earlier in the ball game, he made a nice tackle out of the edge as well as they slow played that option. There was nothing there. You got to read somebody, and a good job to force the pitch, and he was there to make the play.
Styler Blackwell was on the scene as well. Remember, from deeper than this, Owen faked a punt a little bit earlier. They have all kind of options with Burpo back there doing the kicking. This time he puts a left foot into it. And the left-footed kicker will see this bounce to his favor. How about this roll for Owen? Going to keep on moving inside the 20 and be brought to a halt at the 17-yard line. 46 yards on the punt, and a first touch coming for Polk in the 3rd quarter when you return to Columbus. Carolina Furniture Concepts is a presenting sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. They have over $5 million of furniture in stock and ready to be delivered to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms or go online at carolinafurnitureconcepts.com. There was one touch of the football for Owen. Polk's turn now. You never know how many times. Just 3 touches of football on each side in that first half.
Both teams ran 21 plays, and we talked with Peckloth earlier this week, and he said he wanted every possession to end with a kick, either a PAT or a punt. We've had a touchdown, and a fake punt, and then eventually time would run out of the first half.
Flags coming in from everywhere. Not a single member of our officiating crew missed this one.
They didn't miss it, no.
Coming back.
Everybody in the press box, about 10 of us are going. Yep, there it comes.
Yeah, well, there will be no pocket change laundry first down on this play because all the laundry is on the field, and it appears as if this, well, take that back. How about this? It's going the other direction. This is a personal foul against Owen, so there will, oh, that's what they caught. Yep. You know, you get that what is generally in that holding area, but watch this, Tom. Everybody seeing him spin around of the belief the face mask was there, and it is, in fact, a pocket change laundry first down. How about that? With all the laundry on the field, a pocket change laundry, movement of the chains.
That's right.
Told you about our friends from Pocket Change Laundry and the way they do laundry a little bit earlier. Check them out if you haven't. They're sponsoring all of our first downs in this third quarter. 6:15 to go in the third period. Polk on the march for the first time, and the Wolverines give it to Sanchez, and he's up across midfield and into Owen territory at the 44-yard line, where they're going to set the football down. Remember, Sanchez went over 1,000 yards for the year. He had a touchdown in the first half, a first half that was marked by a 100-plus yard night already.
Drew Davis, the linebacker, able to make that tackle there, and he pounded up inside.
You know what it was again? Another pocket change laundry first down. He's in pursuit of another positive gain on first down, has it to the tune of about 6 or 7. You know, Tom, he was at one point, and again, the 43-yard run impacts this, knocking off 8 or 9 yards a clip so far in this game, still at around 7-8 yards each time he touches the football.
Yeah, to reiterate, he came in at 898, 7.7 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, 96% of all the rushing yards by this team, averaging 231.3. came from him, where he averaged 224 yards per carry, including 293 against Blue Ridge earlier this year.
155 the total yardage, 19 touches of the football to get to what is now 8.2 per carry in real time, if you're wondering about his numbers. Stepping up, Wilkins takes it himself. He's got a pocket change laundry first down. Brody Wilkins saw enough daylight, and he moves the chains.
Yeah, I tell you what, he just put head down. Looked like he might get tackled back there for a loss, but a good read, step up inside. And, I mean, he lowers the boom there. Nicely done. He crashes into Steven Anderson, who's an outstanding linebacker, and gets another yard or so.
Steven Anderson, did you say? Remember, he's the guy with a couple of scores on the other side. To this point, flags come in once more. This as Sanchez was working through. Don't get the sense this will be as favorable an outcome as that earlier barrage of flags when it was a face mask on Owen. This will be of the holding variety, and it's coming back.
7 for 75. Coach Fry talking with Nelson at half. Got to cut that out. You go back to the one where they had the 34-yard field goal block. They had some penalties in that particular drive, which resulted in having to attempt the field goal.
Yeah, you talked about 3 really pivotal moments in this football game for Polk that they wanted to focus on at the break.
Yeah, the INT, and we're still not able to get that. 24-yard drive for a touchdown, at the block, field goal from 34 yards, and then on 4th down late in the first half, a couple minutes to go, able to convert in deep in their own territory, and then time eventually would run out.
Yeah, Owen was able to do that to keep Polk from having a late chance in the first half. And so far, so good from turning the page as Polk is on the march. Wolverines with, just 4 and change remaining in the third here on their initial march of the period. Moving ever closer toward the original line of scrimmage, but there is work to be done for the Wolverines as they still find themselves well behind the sticks.
Yeah, good one-on-one tackle out there by Thomas Russell, outside linebackers. Having a good night tonight, 5'8", 170 and a junior. Fourth leading tackler coming in.
21-yard line. That is what Polk needs in order to move the chains with another pocket change laundry first down. Remember, a team that loves to rush the football, looking to go to the skies here. They will. In behind the defense and making the catch for 6 is Lorenzo Sanchez. Yes, he's known for that rushing ability. He can do so much more. And on a night when the ground game has been the focus, it's these two teams taking it to the skies, grabbing the headlines.
Yeah, I'll tell you, another good job. Stepped up in the pocket. We saw it a couple of plays ago and looked like he might get tackled for a loss. Stepped up, got good gain this time, stepped up, touchdown pass.
Foundation Solutions touchdown. The foundation may be the running game, but the solutions of late have been going to the air.
Very good.
And that Foundation Solutions TD makes it 14-13. And the extra point, true. Brand new contest in Columbus. How about Polk County? Can they throw the football? You better believe it, even if it is a familiar face on the receiving end. Stay with News 13 tonight at 11 p.m. for complete coverage of Western North Carolina high school football with Chris and Marvin. Friday Football Frenzy. It's brought to you by Foundation Solutions of Western North Carolina. Well, 6 plays, 83 yards later, they've got something to smile about on the home side. 5:22 came off the third quarter game clock. It was capped with a 35-yard reception from Sanchez. And Tom, you talked about how similar these two teams are. How about the symmetry in this football game right now? On one side, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown for number 7, Steven Anderson. On the other side, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown for number 4, Lorenzo Sanchez. Add it all up, 14 apiece late third in this conference showdown.
Add it all up, Sanchez has about 200+ total yards receiving. He had one of the first half for 14, 35 now, 49.
Seam up near midfield, 42-yard line. And we mentioned all smiles, plenty to smile about on both sides in this 14-14 contest at the moment. And as we shared with you in the first half, our smile cam tonight and every Friday night on Friday Night Rivals, brought to you by Caroline Albee Orthodontics, proudly serving Asheville, Hendersonville, and the Brevard area, and sponsors of tonight's Smile Cam. Owen smiling about the return. Polk smiling about the most recent drive. And what will the Warhorses do from just across the 40-yard line? Keep it on the ground here, and that's to the 45. Good for about 3 yards on the opening play of this drive. You know, This may very well be, when you look at the way the game has played out, the last touch of the football in the third quarter here, Tom. It's just the second drive of the second half for Owen that is commencing as we speak.
Well, and how big was to get him off the field with the first possession of the second half? We thought how important that would be, and I mean, everybody always talks about that, but I think in this case it was. Got off the field, had a good punt, got the good roll, but had a nice drive to get it tied at 14.
We're tracking the numbers for a total offense at 229 for Polk, 132 for Owen at this juncture. But again, you mentioned those penalty yards, 8 of them 85 yards. Now 865 on the Owen side, not as much of a discrepancy as there once was with the way things have transpired here in the third, keeping it himself and spun around just shy of midfield. He is the quarterback and ball carrier Emmett Minks. What can you say about the job Minks has done tonight for Owen?
Well, I think he's been solid throughout the course. They've been able to get a couple of things accomplished in the running game. We talk about the triple option that they want to run. I think for the most part, if you can get him out of the edge a little bit more, I mean, I think it's been a good job by Polk. They haven't been able to get that option game on the edge going as much maybe as he would like, but so far so good, I think, for the young man.
3 of 7 on third down for this Owen Warhorses squad to this juncture. They face a third down and a couple here, and trying the second effort to get across the sticks. May very well have done so. Boy, was he stacked up not far beyond the marker, if at all. But you know, you saw as our officials were trotting in there to mark it, kind of took a line toward what would have been first down yardage, but they're going to put this down just short of it, Tom. It's going to be fourth down, as that was a good push up front from Polk.
I tell you, there wasn't really much there, but the second effort and the contact from the rear got it probably a little bit farther than maybe they would have gotten it, but I think also came up a little bit shy than what they thought they should have got.
The ball just on the Polk County side of the 50-yard line. Obviously on fourth down, this group 1 for 1 tonight, and that was the fake punt. This is the first time they've lined up and tried it on fourth down. It happens right at midfield. It happens in the final half minute or so of the third quarter. And the quarterback's going to sneak it. He's got the first down. Plenty there for Emmett Minks. We were talking about his performance a moment ago. He handled that beautifully, but you got to give plenty of credit to the big guys up front.
Yeah, when right behind the center, Rio Obispo, and then on the right guard, Camden McDonald, the big sophomore, 280.
That may be the final pocket change laundry first down of this half. We'll see. 23 ticks remaining in the third quarter, and we're going to have a stoppage as there is an Owen player, one of those players making space on that offensive line. A little slow to get up. That may be Autry right there. Just at a glance of one of his numbers, it is. Appears to be Autry that's down and being tended to. Step away for a medical minute.
To need support, no matter your crisis, you have options. Learn more at ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
Good to see Autry up under his own power, and he is being tended to by that training staff with 23 seconds left in the third. He and his comrades doing a great job there, Tom, getting the push and maintaining possession of the football for Owen.
Another big guy up front, 6 feet 260 sophomore off that left guard, and taking it up inside of Minks. Pretty good size. It says 6'2", 178. You figured probably just try to get it with him and get his momentum, and they're able to accomplish it. That's another, fourth down. We talked about the conversation about third and fourth down efficiency. That was a good one.
They get the job done. Reminder, next week we go across the state line. We're going to head to Spartanburg High School. We'll have Gaffney and Spartanburg. We stay in Spartanburg County for Dorman hosting Boiling Springs, and then the week that follows, travel to Gaffney when Burns comes to town. So some exciting balance of September into October. Friday Night Rivals contest beginning again next week as we go on the road to Spartanburg. Fourth quarter coming up here. Final ticks off the third quarter game clock. Nothing settled just yet. With us, laundry is not just a chore, but an experience in excellence. We take immense pride in being the premier laundry service in the region. We're redefining the standard of laundry care, combining cutting-edge technology, unparalleled customer service, and a commitment to quality that has earned us a reputation as being the best in Western North Carolina. Pocket Change Laundry. Check us out today. Fourth quarter of a 14-14 contest, dating back to right around a decade or so ago when we first were broadcasting games in North Carolina, the first time that ever happened, right here in this fine facility in this great community. And it came right down to the wire. This one giving every indication it's going to do the same, as these two teams are separated by nothing on the scoreboard, by very little statistically and otherwise when you consider the way they've arrived here. First down, Owen, just inside Polk territory, and here is Hayden Small with a good first down gain. In fact, he may have another first down. He does with that carry. And Owen on the move, the War Horses marching in the early fourth
and
here.
Small on the move when he got it. You talk about Burple going the other way, and then you can hand it to Anderson up inside. So, and able to get out on the edge, and a lot of that has to do with those guys that turn the block back inside.
Anderson has both touchdowns for Owen. If you're just finding us, he had a rushing touchdown to start the scoring. He's 9 of carries for 37 yards, and he had a receiving touchdown to put Owen up front 14-7 at the intermission. You mentioned Sanchez as we were winding toward the end of the third period. He's now sitting at 155 yards on 19 carries for Polk. He has a rushing touchdown of 43 yards and a receiving touchdown in that third quarter, which equalized the contest at 14 apiece. So those have been the two contributors from a scoring standpoint, and now it's a matter of who can take the reins with 11:22 to play.
Well, we talked about that defense discipline. You went Small one way with the pitch. You go to Burple the other way. Let's see if they hand it up inside this time. Nope, throw it out on the edge.
That's an attempt to get it into Bear Dasher over there. They tried to toss that too. Let's see. And incomplete, as Bear Dasher was the intended target that time. We've seen him trying to pursue the opposing QB more often than not. He's playing a little Iron Man football here in the fourth quarter. Clock stops at 11:07 to play on the incompletion, and here comes a consequential third down. Third downs tonight. Owen to this juncture, 3 of 8 on third down. Remember, it required the fourth down conversion the last time around for the War Horses, something they've done a couple of times tonight. Trying to find a seam. There is none. Polk stiffens its neck, and the Wolverines turn him aside. Well, right there was Edis among others to help make the stop, Tom.
Yeah, I tell you again, they're going to run the option this way, and they haven't had a whole lot of success running the option. Really good job to get him to go laterally there. And
Acer Edis, the sophomore. LaShai Miller was in there among those making the stop. A lot of blue jerseys getting the job done. And here's another fourth down. A perfect 2 for 2 tonight. The fake punt and then the minimal yardage that were needed on the quarterback sneak just a little bit ago on this drive at the end of the third quarter. This is a different scenario. 4th and 5 from outside the 30. They're going to call it 6. And a toss. Burpo rushed out of bounds shy of the marker, and Polk will force the turnover on downs.
Well, it looks like Grayson Clancy was one among many that got out there to help make that play. A little toss sweep, trying to turn the corner. We saw that effectively on this drive by both Small and Burpo, and look at it there, got off of that block. That's a heck of a play right there defensively to get off the field. Got a player down now for Polk.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send the training staff out as it looks to be one of the Wolverines need to be tended to. And we will break away, check on the status of the injured player when you return to Columbus.
This is the school bus stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Perhaps the stop of the game to this point, the blocked field goal try that Owen turned aside when Polk County was trying to add points back in the first half. That's our school bus stop of the game.
Yeah, Bear Dash, you're able to get in there and make that play. That was critical early on in the ballgame.
Remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Tom had a player shaken up. Everybody seems to be good to go, and Polk County good to go after that stop. That was a huge, talk about stops of the game. That was one on the Owen side a moment ago. Polk may have just had theirs, Tom. They turned Owen over on downs, and here come the Wolverines.
Yeah, and you go back to that play on the option, and it made it 4th down and long, and came up a little bit shy with that tackle by Clancy.
Near side. Some room, and turning the corner up near midfield is Sanchez. Sanchez, who had over 100 yards in the first half and was sitting there at 155 at last check, running those totals much higher. And he moves the chains past midfield and into Owen territory.
I'll tell you, that was really good play, and he cut off the block of Lachey there as you go back inside. But he was able to, Lachey Miller, that previous play, he set it up beautifully. They cut off of that, and a good job not to hold out of the edge on that first play.
20 yards rush to run his totals on up to 175 of them on 20 carries tonight. He's averaging right at 9 per touch of the football in this one, and who can forget his 43-yard touchdown run earlier in the contest, as both touchdowns for Polk, one on the ground and one he reeled in through the air. Here comes the second down play. Tossed near side. Looks like Blackwell who was the intended target. And Skylar Blackwell has the catch. Be 3rd down and about 3 after this toss and catch.
Yeah, first time get him involved pretty much in the ball game. He had 12 catches, 289, 24.1 yards per catch, but got a good one there.
And he's been involved on the other side, that's for sure, when you talk about the defensive side. But you said it, first real target on offense. And timeout ahead of the 3rd down play. Consequential moment in the football game on the other side of this break on Friday Night Rivals. Well, tonight's Henson's Mulch and More dirty jersey of the game. When you're catching touchdown passes, rushing for 43 yards and a touchdown, you're going to keep the jersey dirty, and Sanchez has had quite a night, Tom.
I'll tell you, he can get it all done. I mean, and not very big. We talked about 5'5", about 147, but man, he has been highly successful here again tonight.
And again, that is our Henson's Mulch and More dirty jersey of the game. Our dirty jersey play on Friday Night Rivals each week, brought to you by Henson's Mulch and More. 8:55 left to get that jersey dirty. If you want to make a consequential play in this game, and this feels like one coming up, it's a huge 3rd down.
8:55, he could run it out. You never know. I mean, second possession in the second half with 8:55 in counting.
Only had 3 in the entirety of the first half. 3 touches on each side. Boy, having to handle that snap pretty quickly was the QB, and just that quickly, defense in the backfield keying on Sanchez, and 4th down is coming.
Now Bear Dasher again. I mean, nicely done there. I mean, how many
times? Is he appropriately named or what?
Yes.
Dashing right in there to provide the stop.
We had a player earlier this year. His first name was Boss, and he was pretty good that night as well. Buford.
8:29 to go. Timeout called for again. Polk County taking it ahead of the 4th down play. 4th down and 7 coming. And this little pause gives us a chance to eat a little more of that barbecue sandwich. Big thanks to Shell Fagan, the AD, coming in just a little bit ago and making sure we're well fed. I mean, once again, we say thank you to all the fine folks at Polk County. We don't need to let the night pass us by without stopping to say those who've hosted us once again, those who hosted us originally in the state of North Carolina, back in the Thursday night lights days. It was Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals in those days, 10 in each state, and that's how things began to transpire here. It's all now been born into the Friday night rivals era, but it began in North Carolina, the first live televised football game in the state happening right here in this facility, and right around a decade ago, and coming back here brings it full circle in so many ways, Tom.
Well, the game was pretty much like this one, highly competitive on that night.
28-27 the final, a single point separating them that night, and nothing separating them right now, and a big 4th down coming up here.
And who was doing the play-by-play that?
I have vivid memories of that night. It was something special, that's for sure. Kenny Ford alongside, something special to have his Warhorses involved in this, along with that Polk County team where we're praising. And it's going to be tossed back in the direction one more time through the skies of Blackwell, but it looks as if Owen is going to get off the field and return the favor. Warhorses had plenty of white jerseys there. There is a flag to sort out at the 45.
I think it was Anderson who made the tackle, but that's a gutsy call.
It is ineligible on Polk. It is declined, and one deserves another. Polk stopped the last drive for Owen with a turnover on downs, and the Warhorses return the favor.
Tell you what, that's a big call we were talking about, because you're going to get really good field position. If you kick it out of there, you may have to force them to drive the length of field, but we've seen them been able to do that. So kind of rolled the dice there and did a nice job to make a play on that 4th down.
One of the biggest questions, you've asked it all night long, how many times will you get a chance to do something with the football? It belongs to Owen right now. The Warhorses, who led 14-7 at the intermission after trailing 7-0 following the 43-yard run by Sanchez. That's the thing. It was 7-0 Polk. Warhorses went on a 13-play, 70-yard drive. A 1-yard run by Anderson tied it, 7-7 after one. Then following the interception, an 8-yard pass to Anderson, 14-7 at the half. The lone score of the 3rd quarter on a 6-play, 83-yard drive for Polk County, and we are even at 14 apiece. 8 and change working downward as the battle takes place at midfield. Let's check in quickly with Nelson for tonight's check presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. I'm standing here on the sidelines with some of the beautiful cheerleaders here at Polk County High. Ladies, on behalf of my 48 Friday Night Rivals, number 1, happy homecoming to all of y'all. But number 2, more importantly, thank y'all so much for inviting us here this evening. We proudly present y'all a check for $500.
There will be another presentation here in just a bit, a trophy presentation. Jury's still out on exactly who will be hoisting that Friday Night Rivals trophy. And we do thank all the fine folks, as we said a moment ago, from Polk County for hosting us. And thanks to all the good work that the folks surrounding the Owen Warhorses program. You know, great information provided this week and access to both coaches and everything you would want in preparation for a Friday night like this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we thank the coaches each and every week to provide us with the opportunity to describe their programs, where they are, their community involvement, and 2 guys that are going to get it going at respective places.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Bright future for both these teams, and you know, perhaps a bright future in this year's conference slate, but you need the springboard of a win tonight to make that reality. Owen just across the 50-yard line on the 49 of Polk County. And caught drops to a knee, makes sure he has the first down. Well done there by Slade Gardner. You know, some of these individuals who maybe haven't been major factors thus far in the game, rising to the occasion when it matters most. That's true in the case of Slade Gardner, the 10th grader.
Yeah, really nice looking young man, 6'4", 195 sophomore, 4 catches, 36 yards coming in. And you know what he did? He got far enough, made sure that he caught the ball, had stopped it pretty well on the down prior to that, and forced him to go through the air. You think maybe you're going to run the football, but got to be the pass.
You know, move the chains as a result. Now keeping it himself is Meeks. He's going to work his way inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Meeks, the keeper. How about the job those big boys up front continue to do, Tom, to make space?
But you know what he did there? He was going to run the option a little bit there and made a quick decision to cut it up inside. They've been able to string it out. They've done a really good job, and then able to come up there and make tackles, having a good night. Lashai Miller got in there again.
This is still a game won in the trenches on so many levels, and these guys up front trying to make sure the football stays with the War Horses of Owen.
We mentioned Minks getting those steps in. He goes to the sideline every time to get the call.
Put one of those watches on him and track it, right? Here's the second down play. Coming near side and swung around with his jersey. The catalyst for getting him out of bounds. Hayden Small was the ball carrier. Going to be third down and about 2, maybe a long 2, as a couple of different players angled him toward the sideline, and in the end, Acer Edis, whose name we've called a couple of times, involved.
Yeah, he was in the play prior to that as well. He's done a really good job as well. Another young guy. We talk about how big these sophomore classes are, 13, 14 respectively. Both teams have 32 and 28, so not many seniors or juniors, but big sophomore classes.
Third down. Scenario where War Horses are just shy of 50% tonight, looking for another conversion, and it appears they have it, Tom. Certainly that second effort assures the first down. War Horses stay on the march here, as this is going to take it inside 5 minutes to play.
Yeah, a nice job. They go back up inside. I think for the most part, they've done a pretty good job when you're talking about Polk defensively to slow down Anderson a little bit there, but they've had some success on the toss sweep, getting it outside. Option hasn't been maybe what they would like for it to be tonight, but it gives you several different things you have to defend, and then the pass has been effective at times here tonight.
14 all, 440. And downward it ticks. Burpo. Blockers in front of him. Burpo digging for the 25, and he'll have it. You know, so much of what has been done by Owen, not just tonight, but this season in the kicking game and otherwise by Burpo. And boy, he's blessed with all that athletic ability and leadership. Comes his way from all sides. He's a guy they talk about being Valley strong. His mom's dad, Wendell Begley, guy who was instrumental in the new high school on the hill, and certainly bringing Kenny Ford there. His great-grandpa, Marcus, who helped build the Valley in so many ways, savings and alongside of things. You have the Burpos, who known for their cabinetry as being builders as well. His grandma's still there, century mark, matriarch of the Valley in so many ways. I mean, he got it honest, Tom. Great uncles, Hank McCory, Yogi McCory, the Hall of Famer from the 60s. I mean, he's from a family through and through that represents the Valley, and they're going to let him represent this War Horses team in these moments. It could come down to his leg when all is said and done. Who knows, Tom Benoit?
Yes, he's a kicker as well. You get a look at Anderson here. Watch this second, third effort. He was stacked up out line of scrimmage. The key there, too, was the yardage they got on first down, so you don't get behind the sticks a little bit. And, you know, maybe Coach Fry, we saw him there a moment ago, did a great job the third year, was tried to make that fourth down play because you might not get it back.
First bank red zone opportunity for Owen as the ball rests solidly on the 20. A reminder, First Bank, sponsors of our red zone opportunities throughout the night, with 23 locations across Western North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina to serve you. You said might not get it back. 3 and change to go.
Whoa.
There's a toss. Could get it back if that goes awry. Hayden Small falls on it, and everybody that made the trip down from Owen catching their breath after this.
Yeah, talking about you don't want to make any miscues. That's a pretty good toss, a little bit high, but one that you can probably gather in there. And he got the fortuitous hop there. You never know with the oblong ball which way it's going to go, and he's able to get back on it.
If you came down from Black Mountain, Shenandoah Valley, you go, wow. Dodged one right there, but well behind the sticks, second down coming. And, this second half, Tom, has been as known for the defensive stops we've seen as anything else. Will another be put together by Polk County right here?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been a hard-fought ball game. And again, we knew coming in with the ability of both teams to run the football and able to mix in the pass a little bit here and there, maybe a little more we thought with Owen here tonight, that you're not going to have it many times. And we've seen that through first half for both teams. Both teams ran 21 plays, and here in the second half, just the third possession for Owen, and Polk's had it a couple times, turned it over on downs. That's it in the whole ball game here tonight. We got 2:46 to go, and a really good one tied at 14.
9 plays on one of the extended drives of the football game. It's mindful of that original North Carolina contest when Mitchell came down the mountain and took on this Polk County team a decade or so ago. This time around, the War Horses of Owen, the Wolverines of Polk, and 2:46 to settle it. Here comes the second down play. Burpo inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Makes third down a little more manageable, but they still got that old country mile scenario, Tom. It is third and a while. They need all the way to the 10-yard line to secure the first down.
Jalen McCraw comes up, makes the tackle, but maybe more importantly, you're on the about 23-yard line, and what you get here may determine what you're going to do on fourth down. Either go for it or maybe provide opportunity to kick the field goal in a 14-14 ball game, and nearing the 2-minute mark here in the game.
5 of 12 on third down tonight for this War Horses squad.
It's a big play. I think most people can figure that out as well as us.
Boy, this is one of the biggest in terms of tonight's conference victory, which hangs in the balance between these two. Been a good one on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Owen to the air. Owen to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Houston Mashburn.
Boy,
it appeared in the end zone. Another look at it.
Boy, everybody conversion. You have about 4 of them, 2 and 2 in the end zone or in the end zone there, and just goes a little bit too high and beyond everybody.
Houston Mashburn, Slade Gardner, whose name we called a little bit earlier, both on the spot. Fourth down coming. Now, this fourth down scenario for Owen tonight, it's worked out well at times. 2 of 3 when they've gone for it, but we said it could come down to the leg of Burpo, and here he is with a 40-yard try for the left-footed kicker. With 1:44 to play, looking for the lead for the War Horses. Burpo, plenty of distance. It is good. A 40-yard field goal. Nearly on cue from Hayden Burpo. We said so much of his work on the ground in the rushing game, what he does defensively, but Tom, he split the uprights like a pro and gives his War Horses the lead with 1:39 to go. Now a 17-14 contest.
Well, when we talked with Coach Faircloth this week, we asked him, as we do every week, hey, what's your field goal kicker's distance? And at the high school level, sometimes it's not that far. In this case, he said, hey, you know what? He came up a little bit shy of 47-yard attempt earlier. We think he can maybe even get it up to 50. That was a 40-yarder, and you just called it. I mean, that ball would have been good from 50 plus there. So nicely done. Good job. I think a little bit of a low snap, able to get it down. And he drilled it between the uprights at 1:39 to go. 17-14 lead right now.
Burpo could have made that from 55. I'm with you. Had plenty of distance that time. Knocked it right through for the lead. And Polk now has just shy of 100 seconds to respond. What do you expect on this Polk drive that's coming?
Well, you've got 139 to go, and then you've principally been a running football team, but you've got some guys that can catch the ball, so you've got to be able to get down the field close enough so maybe you can have that opportunity either to win it with a touchdown or at least try to get it in overtime.
Reminder, conference victory on the line to start the most important portion of the schedule. The games that matter in the pursuit of a championship. Owen back out front, this time around by just 3. As the 40-yard field goal good off the left leg of Burpo. This is going to go into the end zone. Touchback coming, and Polk will be separated from the end zone by, you know the distance, those familiar 80 yards, and by 99 seconds on the scoreboard to work with.
Yeah, but Jason, again, I'm going to go back to Burpo, though. He's had 11, 12 kickoffs this year. That's the 5th touchback, and you think about the opening kickoff and how it was returned for Polk County.
38 yards.
It set it up for them to score on that 43-yard run. I think that was a big kick there, not to provide the opportunity to return it.
And Burpo getting the job done in that occasion. Again, we mentioned he does a little bit of everything for this Warhorses squad, showing you just why that's true. Cody Wilkins and company with a chance to respond, and he steps up into trouble and works right out of it. How about timely run for Wilkins, and he's up near midfield, going to keep working until he strives to get across it, and Brody Wilkins using the wheels to set the stage for Polk County's comeback.
Yeah, good job there. He was under pressure. He stepped up and able to find something. Everybody with their back turned, run it down, trying to defend. Good game.
His longest rush of the night at 31 yards. Pick a time for it, young man. Setting him up just inside Owen territory at the 49. And this time he gives off. Sanchez tried to break loose, but a shoestring tackle. Who was it? Big 5'5", getting his hands in there to make the stop. That's Obispa again.
Yeah, nice job. If he doesn't make that, he has an avenue for a good gain, and the clock continues to run, approaching 1 minute.
You know what he has done tonight, filling up the middle of that defense. Rio Obispa, the senior, with the shoestring tackle. 2nd down and 10 coming, inside a minute to play. Wilkins, toss, Sanchez. Makes a man miss to get to the 35, and this is going to tack on a whole lot more, it would seem, as flags come in as they tried to wrestle Sanchez to the ground, perhaps getting a little of the face mask in the process. Our officials get together, Brian O'Mary, our referee, and company, to give you the determination right now. Well, what a huge call, what a huge moment this is.
And stepped up into the pocket to get it off. Going to be personal foul. This is going to be a face mask.
Will be that face mask. And it's going to march them even deeper into Owen territory. Now, you know what the mindset is for Polk. It's win the football game. But I got to ask you, Tom, if it comes down to a field goal, how much confidence lengthwise in the leg of Blake Anderson, the senior?
I think quite a bit as well, because he's a soccer guy. In fact, a couple times this year he's played soccer matches during the course of the week, played football on Friday. But they feel good with his length if it comes down to that.
Polk swept the soccer series not that long ago between these two schools. Can they come from behind in the 4th to win the football game? Wilkins brought down at the 20-yard line as this red zone opportunity. Brought to you by First Bank. We'll see him drugged down. 2nd down coming and timeout called as he could not work his way to the sideline.
And Barrett Dasher having a good night tonight as well.
First timeout having been called here. And a 2nd down and 10 is coming. That actually, check that. According to our calculations, is the 2nd timeout that Polk has used. So the Wolverines down to just a single timeout remaining. And 30 seconds on the clock. Look who's getting ready if he's needed. Blake Anderson, the senior kicker. Much rolling through that young man's mind as he could be asked to tie it if Polk can't find the end zone for the win here, Tom.
You know, sometimes you never know how it's going to play out. That's why we love it. It's unscripted. You don't know. Both the coaches we talked to this week said they thought this would be one of the most competitive games in Western North Carolina. It's turned out to be that way.
Boy, everything you could have wanted tonight. I know you're glad you're with us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. We're overjoyed to have you. This one down to the wire for the second consecutive week. Here's the snap. Wilkins steps up again. He's going to be swallowed up. And now Polk County trying to hurry to avoid using that final timeout. Seeing it tick down to 15. It's down to 12. And they will kill it with 10 seconds remaining, but that also exhausts the down, and it makes this next play the play of the football game for Polk County, Tom.
Yep, you're down to the final seconds of the ball game.
Well, and here's the thing. You now are at 4th down, and you do not have an opportunity to stop the clock and try for the field goal if you don't go ahead right here. So they will send Blake Anderson, the senior, out. It was a 40-yard field goal connected on by Hayden Burpo to give the visitors from Owen the lead. This is going to be a 34-yard try to tie the game with 10 seconds to play. And he's right between the hashes. And timeouts abound for Owen. Oh, no timeout taken to ice him. Instead, it's a delay, and that's going to make this kick 5 yards longer. Boy, tough moment for the home team, as now the Wolverines are going to need a 39-yard try, and Owen will take the timeout to ice the kicker. So, boy, things coming down to a big kick from Blake Anderson in an effort to keep this game going.
Yeah, that's a real tough penalty right there, given the circumstances, and he's probably still got the leg for that particular distance as well. But still, I mean, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
All right, let's bring everybody up to speed. If you're just finding us, maybe your game has ended and you're working your way home to see the balance of Friday Night Rivals. This one started with a 38-yard kickoff return that led to a 43-yard touchdown run from Sanchez, who's gone over 1,000 yards on the year tonight. And Polk led it 7-0. Owen equalized with a 1-yard run from Anderson, capping a 13-play drive. It was 7-7 after 1. An 8-yard touchdown pass to Anderson put Owen up 14-7 at the intermission. Polk had the lone touchdown, a 35-yard reception by Sanchez in the third quarter. We went to the fourth, 14-all. A 40-yard field goal from Burpo put Owen up moments ago. And called upon for a 39-yarder here is Blake Anderson to tie it. Snap tough. Polk deciding to throw it, and it is turned aside. Owen is going to seal a victory on the road to open conference play of the 17-14 variety. What a battle on this night in Columbus. And just the 40-yard field goal of Hayden Burpo separating these two as Coach John Faircloth and company begin to celebrate the W.
Well, I'll tell you, and it was a high snap to begin with, and then I'm not sure that was a play call, but to try to throw, but I think he just kind of.
Couple of things that Polk will look back at there, Tom. One is the penalty that forced that field goal to be a bit longer. And in the end, the kick, they were unable to get it off. That's because Owen stands tall, and the Warhorses roll into Columbus and still away victory. 17-14 the final on the strength of Burpo's 40-yard field goal. Here was that final gasp for the home-standing Wolverines. Back with the balance of tonight's presentation. The War Horses of Owen roll into Polk County, come away with a key conference victory. You know, a late field goal time, but they led it at the intermission with a tremendous surge from behind in the early stages. Owen successful on this night, and it's time for the Bojangles Trophy presentation.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, first things first, congratulations on an excellent win here tonight. Talk to me about your thoughts on the second half of the game, Coach.
I mean, it was like we talked about in pregame. You know, we knew what this game was. We knew it was going to be a one-score game. We knew that we were looking in the mirror, right? Like our kids are similar. Like our coaches like each other. Like, you know, it's very similar cultures. So, you know, we didn't play great. I didn't coach great. You know, there's 72 things I wish I could take back tonight. But at the end of the day, like these kids, man,
It's all right, Coach.
I love this valley. I love this valley. You understand? Pony up. I'm so happy for them. That's what I am, man. They did it. They did it. So.
Team, let me ask y'all, do y'all love y'all's coach?
Yeah!
Coach, a second ago, you talked about how it came down to a one-score game. Oftentimes, we talk about the offense, we talk about the defense, but right now, you know where we got to go. We got to talk about your star kicker, Mr. Hayden Boupro. Let's talk about that 40-yard. Who also bears the distinction of being our Army Scholar Athlete winner as well. Let's talk about that field goal kicks.
About time. I mean, no, man. I mean, I was told a long time ago, and I think I've heard Nick Saban say it too. So I'll keep quoting it. Like, when you get in a critical situation, think about players. Don't think about plays. Like, don't do stuff that you haven't practiced. Do stuff your kids are good at executing. Like that situation, you know what? We called the dagblam play, and the kids executed it, and he put it through those things. So I'm happy, you know.
Now, Coach, on a serious note, as you know, right about this time last year, Hurricane Helene left a devastating impact on not just the city, but the entire region as a whole. It also cut short your football team last year, your season. Let's talk about how, with tonight's win, you guys are going up 3-2. How important is it for you not just to have that record, but also really just to see the resiliency of your entire team?
Well, it gives our community something that's positive, right? When you still drive through Swannanoa, you can't believe some of the stuff that you see, man. And these kids live in it every day. And we still got families that are in campers and tents, and people that are trying to find old photographs and still pick up their lives. And maybe, just maybe, Owen High School football being 3-2 puts a little smile on their face tomorrow morning. So.
Well, I have no doubt this trophy is going to put a smile on everybody's face. Congratulations, Coach, and congratulations, team!
Visions of Owen's historic past, and war horses everywhere are smiling. They are Valley strong as they roll into Polk County and come away with a 17-14 victory on this night. And the home team celebrated all the homecoming festivities. They outgained them 301-188, but the war horses strong enough, tough enough to get the job done tonight. We'll see you from Spartanburg County, the land of the Vikings. We got the Indians and Vikings, Gaffney and Spartanburg, coming up for you next Friday night. And despite all the tremendous individual performances, it's a community win tonight for Owen. Valley strong with a 17-14 final on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals.
This is the big time, ready, set.